Welcome back, Quick Hands Rugby League Podcast, Season 3, Episode 7. What was that?
Oh, that was me being silly. That was me being silly. I want to thank our producer. That's just me being silly.
Welcome in, guys. Tanya, Artie, George.
Hey, welcome.
Hey guys.
Did you like that at least? Did you like that too?
It was good. I liked it.
Back in the saddle again.
I won't do that again.
That was good. That was funny.
Yeah, it was.
It was funny.
Off we go.
George, where's round 6?
In the can, Nicola. In the can. In the can.
I'm going to steal the same line that Braithen Astor uses every night on NRL 360. Huge show tonight.
Huge.
Right?
Huge.
There's a couple of interesting things to talk about. Before we go there, Artie, what's your good thing of the week? And by the way, we missed you last week.
Thanks,
so it's good to have
thanks,
you back.
guys. Thanks. Sorry I couldn't make it last week, but I heard the pod was a great pod, guys. You did a great job. So when am I expecting my redundancy?
Soon. Just go.
I'll get the tap. Yeah,
Well,
sure.
we can't do that until the 1st of November.
Okay, sure.
We can't talk about it just yet.
That's all right, because my manager's already been talking around.
Oh,
He's
yeah?
floating my name out there. Yeah, good thing of the week.
Yeah.
It goes to a man named Jan de Boer. He's a young Norwegian goalkeeper.
He's not related to Ronald de Boer or
Not
Frank de
related,
Boer.
Not related at all.
The two Dutch.
The two,
Yeah.
Jan de Boer and what's the other one, de Boer?
Frank de Boer, Ronald de Boer.
Ronald de Boer,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think there was
No
another one,
relation,
Jan de Boer. Right. No relation, no. He saved the penalty on his debut for club Bruin FK. They ended up losing 1-0, but he got the man of the match.
Oh, how
He
good.
did. And he got rewarded 4 trays of eggs from the local farmer. So, good on you, Jan. Now, you know what? He's now looking to join the Tigers because in 10 years you'll get a barbecue with that. So,
A Weber.
but that was my good thing of the week. Jan de Boer winning his 4 trays of eggs
Agenda.
from the local sportsman. No, true story. It was a true story. I saw it on Facebook. So.
And this is the part of the show every week where I've got to shake my own hand.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, that was next.
Okay.
What's in Nico's bin?
All right. The Parramatta Eels. Let's move on.
Again.
Again.
Well, I think it's self-explanatory. Let's go to controversy corner. There's a couple of big things to talk about, obviously.
Ooh.
You guys want to start with Lachlan Galvin or Spencer Leniu?
Lucky.
Start with Lachlan
Start with
Galvin.
Lucky.
mate, yeah.
So everyone knows what's going on with Galvin.
Lucky, poor
Rejected
Lucky.
5-year, $5 million offer from the Tigers.
Oh.
Now there's a lot to talk about, but before we go any further, he actually has in the last hour released a statement.
Mhm.
So I'll read that out. Verbatim. I totally understand my decision. Sorry, my voice. I totally understand my decision will frustrate many West Tigers fans, but please know that it wasn't an easy call to make. It's a decision that I have discussed at length with my parents, closest friends, and family. I'm extremely grateful for their love and support in making this call. The biggest reason why I made this call now is so that the West Tigers have enough time to plan their roster without me in the future. That's the absolute truth of it. The club were eager to get a deal done, and so they called a meeting with my management last week. I could have mulled over this decision all season, but I didn't think that was the right thing to do. I thought it would be best for everyone to make the call now rather than drag it out. Any suggestion that I already have a deal done at another club for 2027 is simply not true. I'm extremely grateful to be able to go to work every day as an NRL footballer, and the West Tigers have played a massive role in the opportunity I have to play this game. I just feel that as I move into an important period of my development as a half, that I continue to build my game at a different club. Again, I know this might be hard for some people to understand, but I make this decision in the best interest of my career. That's his statement.
Signed Isaac Moses. No,
Yeah.
just joking.
Probably. His father also made a few comments. I don't know if you guys want to hear that.
Yeah. 'Cause
So his father, James Galvin, said, I can understand how Tigers fans feel, but as his father, I can also understand why Lachlan feels he needs a change. I want the best for my son and his development as an NRL player, and for that, I'm supportive of his decision as he's the one who knows his game best. As a family, we're comfortable that Lockie is backing himself as a young man. What I know is that Lockie will continue to do his best for the club for the remainder of his time here.
Lucky, you're killing my father. You're killing my poor dad. You're killing my poor dad. Well, there you go. He's just said it all.
This is a polarizing topic. I'm obviously interested to hear what all you guys think. My take on it very quickly is I don't see what anyone's done wrong. Every player at every club has until November 1 to, test their value on the market. I don't understand why he's being ostracised. That's just my take on it.
You know what?
It was the club that shut him down, right? He said he wanted to test his value, and the club said, "Well, you won't be here."
You know what, Nicola?
That's how I understand it.
I think the media's making a big thing out of it. You know what? At last, there's some green shoots out of this club after a very, very long terminal decade, and the brightest star is opted to leave. Why? We've heard a lot of innuendos. You know, he doesn't like the coaching, this, that. He came out and he told us why. That's his statement. You know, what we see is what we get. No, of course not. We know his parents have waved the magic wand. There's no doubt in all of our minds that his manager has put his 20 cents in.
Isn't that his manager's job, though,
That's
to
his
get him the
manager-
best
that's
deal
his
possible?
manager's job. That's his manager's
Yeah, but his manager's the one I was reading today about it. He's like well known for
Yep.
making moves
Oh,
like this. So he
absolutely.
pulled Tedesco out of Tigers.
Yeah, but hasn't he got every one of his clients the best deal possible? I mean, it's hard to argue.
Well, the Roosters have rejected Lachlan already because
Because of the
they don't
manager.
like
They won't
Moses.
deal with Moses. I know, but I mean, isn't Tedesco better off for having gone to the Roosters in the last 5 years?
He could have retired.
But how do you know, Nick? If Moses
Well, you don't.
and Teddy stayed at Tigers, how do you know Tigers wouldn't be?
You don't.
wouldn't
But I
have
mean,
wanted
at
to
what point does the club turn around and look at itself and say, "What are we doing wrong?" Because
Yeah.
everyone keeps wanting to leave.
I understand.
See, again, I was telling George earlier, and I don't know the details, right? We only know what we read. But the way I look at it, and again, without knowing the intimate details of it, it looks to me like a seasoned campaigner being Richo, right? Richardson. He's shot himself in the foot here because he's gone off emotionally. Now, if I'm sitting at the other end of the table and I want this kid, and his manager says, "We want to test our value on the open market," and in my head I'm going, "No way." The first thing I'm going to say is, "Sure, I understand, and we'll support you. Just let us know what you need." Because in my head, I'm saying to myself, "Well, I've still got until November to flip him. So let's play it smart." But they didn't. They reacted emotionally, and they did the opposite and came out, "Well, he won't be here." Well, now he won't be there.
Yeah.
So any chance you did have of keeping him is gone because you went off early. When if he was a smart operator, as he apparently is, he would realise he's got over 6 months to lock this kid in.
There's something doing because this is the third time he's asked for a release. Well, he hasn't asked for a release now. He's just not renewing.
George, you never asked.
Twice before, didn't he?
No.
Asked-
The club has been trying to lock him down.
Oh, this time, yeah.
No. Even at the end of last year,
okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what happened.
they tried to,
Understand.
and they're saying we're not ready to talk yet.
So he didn't ask for a release. The
He's
last
never
time.
asked for a release.
Okay, I thought he asked for a
I
release.
thought he
No.
did too. I thought he said, "Get me out." Oh, that was Buzz.
Was that Buzz?
That was
Forget
Buzz.
about
He
it.
never-
If it's
he-
Buzz.
he
That was
didn't ask-
Buzz.
he
And then
didn't
they
ask-
shot it down
Yeah,
straight
it was
after.
Buzz.
He didn't ask for a release.
Okay.
He simply didn't commit.
Okay.
You know what my take on this? And look, if he wants to leave because he doesn't want to be coached by Benji, he thinks he's got a better chance elsewhere.
How
Well,
does-
if I was him, I'd be only wanting to go to Cleary, Bellamy, Robbo, or Bennett. I wouldn't want to go anywhere else.
Or
'Cause
Serraldo.
No,
Serraldo.
why Serraldo? What's he done?
Well,
Does he want a comp?
I think it's pretty obvious what he's
Has
done.
he won a comp?
Well, no, but in the last
Then
2
what?
years, look what he's done.
He hasn't won a comp.
Well, that's not the telling factor, though. I mean, how many
Webster got the Warriors close.
How
is
many-
he a super coach?
coaches have won the comp? How many
Still,
current
I
coaches?
don't, I don't understand why his name isn't it.
Well, you know what everyone's forgetting here, and Tan, I'm keen to get your thoughts on this. Right? Everyone's saying, "Oh, it's wrong because he feels he's not going to develop under Benji. You know, it's disrespectful or whatever." What's Benji done apart from win a wooden spoon?
Doesn't
He's
matter.
done nothing.
It was his first year.
No, it's his second year. He's
No,
won a
his
wooden
first year
spoon.
was Tim
He's
Sheets.
won a wooden spoon. Well, Serraldo's in his third year,
Yeah.
right? And he's done a lot better than Benji has.
What's he done?
Right? He's
the thing is
well,
that-
they're coming first and they're undefeated.
The-
A quarter into the
Round
comp.
6.
Yeah,
Can I
quarter of
just
the way
say-
into the comp.
Round 6.
Yeah,
Can I
Okay.
just say about Lockie?
Lost last year's
when
finals,
he
one
was-
game.
you
Lost the finals.
got
game.
to the final,
But he lost it
Got
straight away.
there.
So Fitzgibbons.
You seriously can't tell me the Bulldogs aren't the hottest team in the comp at the
So
moment.
if Benji makes the finals this year, in his second year, he hasn't
Ben-
done the same as Serraldo. Got his team from the shit
You-
to the finals in the second year.
Do you honestly think you will?
You never know. He's there.
In terms of young Lockie, he's 19. Like he really doesn't know what good coaching is yet. like in my view. Of
course not.
You know what I mean? He what does he know about coaching? So like we
Well, he's
keep
only
on
had
saying,
one. He's only had one first grade
Yeah.
coach.
So like we say, it's things all around this. You know, I mean, it's what we see is not what we get. Now, if he generally wants to move to a super club, you know what I mean? Look, go for it. Fair enough.
He'd be nice next to Cleary.
It'd be nice.
He'd be great for it.
Exactly.
But,
That's what I'll do.
what do you think, Tam?
Oscar Cleary, yeah.
Well, Jerome actually put a post on Instagram when he was behaving so well, but he put a post up on his story saying team first.
Yeah,
in response to
which
all-
is
all
funny
this
coming
stuff.
from a guy who signed the contract 18 months out before he left his club.
Jerome.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
No
But
double
it's-
standards there. And Appy
it'd be
Coruscant, who along with Jerome, complained about him. Appy Coruscant, when he signed his contract with the Tigers, insulted the club and the fans by making fun of them and saying, "I'm going to get my first wooden spoon." He wasn't wrong. He's got 3 now.
But Richard's building a nice team around him. So anyway, sorry, Tam. Go.
Yeah, sorry, Tanya.
I just think it's and Artie last week before we jumped on, I gave Georgia a 30-minute insight into recruitment. But I think it's it links back to that, right? So even if you look at leadership and everything else, but also, so the way I read it was he declined a contract first, and then subsequently all these things came out about, you know, unrest and everything in the team and just the gossip. We don't know. And if he wants to go. But it's like if I'm talking to candidates and they want to hold out, he won't stay there till November.
No way.
Like
No way.
awkward anyway.
No way.
It's untenable.
And it's great. And it's great that he's done a statement and everything, but I guess, you know, in my experience with managers and like player managers, they do think about the player, but obviously they get paid, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. You don't know where the truth lies, but it would be really disappointing if he gets impacted by this because he's 19. What would he know? What did we know at 19?
I think there's 2 important things to remember here as well, right? His manager would have got a juicy commission from a 5-year, $5 million signing.
Yeah, you're right.
So I think everyone's forgetting that. And I think the other thing as well is, and I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't seen anywhere where he's come out and said it's Benji. He said, my development in the club. The club has been a
and people
basket
have
case
said-
for a decade.
Yeah.
This
and-
club has not made the finals in 13 years in a competition where half of the competition makes the finals,
I think that's why
right?
this reaction is because we're starting to see some green shoots.
There might be more, but I'm just saying there might be more behind the scenes that we're not aware of.
Definitely.
But
100%.
Rabbitohs were in a similar position, and then Richardson came in there and he fixed it up, and they won their first
Yeah.
comp.
And he's
So they
doing
got the
well,
right
and
man.
he's doing well here. You can
He's
see
doing
it.
well.
Yeah.
You got to give him time. He's not going to fix it in
I know.
1 or 2 years. He needs a
It's
few more
just-
years, and he's starting to build a team around him. The spine is
And-
brilliant,
And that's why it
and that's
hurts.
why it hurts the Tigers.
That's why it hurts
And
all
Richo.
of us because, like I said, we've seen something good come out of something because we all like the Tigers. Everybody,
Yeah.
no one hates the Tigers. You know what I mean? And I mean they've had a hard 8, 6, 5 years, so it hurts. It hurts me.
Mm.
You know, I'm.
But the thing is, though, in a different frame, if he was playing this year for Bennett, it would be a different story, right? So it like because I was reading about this before I jumped on tonight, and there's lots of back and forth and Benji. Like, I just think it's like the Ezra Mem thing. There needs to be like an actual statement. Like you don't need players going on social media and everything else. 2, you know, that statement that Galvin's put together, like well written, right? But just be honest, because people can sense bullshit.
I just think like he's a kid, right? He's 19. He was in school last year, right?
Good kid.
But who's leading him?
Well,
you
he's
know?
obviously being. I mean, he's obviously his management and his parents are, you know, because he's a kid, you know.
He is.
But I feel like he's being ostracized. You know, I mean, what's he done wrong other than said,
Yeah, you're right.
I want to test my options.
Mm.
Maybe I want to
I
go
don't
play
think
for a
he's done
different
anything-
club. Like, is
I-
that so bad? Like
I don't
everyone.
think he's done anything wrong. It's probably timing, Nick.
Yeah, I know, but it's just everyone. Well, Dylan Brown, round 1. You know, no one's criticizing that because of the money. Yet that's usually the number one criticizing factor when we're talking about this type of thing. Isn't it funny?
You know,
Right?
You know what? Maybe he wants to be involved in a so-called big club.
Maybe he wants to go to a strong club who's a premiership contender.
Because he's everything. He's going to be everything that and more. That's early view. That's what I think. He's going to be everything and more than what we think he's going to be. In the right structure, in the right team, in the right mentorship. And maybe he sees, I don't know, Isaac doesn't work with the Roosters. When you look at the Roosters, but they've got everything there to grow as a human and as a player. Possibly Serrato or Canterbury have got things like that. Bennett, they've got things like that. You know what I mean? So maybe he wants to go to one of those big clubs.
It's never an issue when a club wants to let a player go.
Well, this is it. This is it. Now,
Is it? The door swings both ways.
Yeah. Now, so every time the players, the clubs move players on, and Gus moved 12 in 1 year.
Yeah.
How he did it, I don't know. But Gus moved 12 players in 1 year.
Parra moved 2 big names on last year. No one's talking
Yeah.
about that.
So when that happens, somehow the clubs get untouched. But when a player wants to move, and you can't make a player stay, it's always the player's
Yeah, you're
fault.
right.
It's the money. It's the money that they want. I suggest to you, Lockie will go somewhere less than what
He may well do.
Yeah, less than what the Tigers are giving him, because 5 years, 5 million.
It was actually 6 years, 6 million, because it included an upgrade for this season and next season, which would have totaled an extra mil. Yeah.
So 6 million for 6 years for a 19-year-older, and probably there's some ratchet clause. There's no way in the world you'll sign for that. He's not going to get any better.
If that was me, if he genuinely wants to improve his career, I'd be knocking on Ivan Cleary's door and begging him, mate, I'll come to you for
But
500.
But to me, they look like
Yeah.
they look like a club in decline.
Nah.
You got to think about the next 5 years, right?
It's not an issue
I don't think
where,
so, not with
at the
Ivan.
moment, it's not an issue where he's going. It's an issue that is what he wants to do,
Yeah.
and why has West lost another one? That is the issue.
Yeah,
If he
that
wants
is
to
the
leave
issue.
every
You're right.
every-
It's always West
Do you
too.
know what I reckon, Artie? Like the smartest operator in sport has struck here, and everyone's missed it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know what you're going to say.
Gus Gould. Gus
His
Gould.
media shit.
He's done the deal already.
With media shit.
You know
yeah.
how he's done it? He's done it twice, right? Twice in the last 3 months. Firstly, he came out and said, "This kid's the best teenager I've ever
Yeah.
seen." If you're Lachlan Galvin and Phil Gould is saying that, or if you're Lachlan Galvin's dad and Phil Gould is saying that, you're like, wow. He followed that up. This is publicly on TV, 100% footy and all that. He followed that up by saying, this kid should not leave the West Tigers. He needs to stay at that club. They need to blah, 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 blah. And again, if you're this kid's parents, you're going, wow, he's putting the kid's well-being first. He cares about this kid's future.
Maybe.
Now that Galvin's decided to leave, well, Phil Gould's someone who we know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's
I wouldn't be
sneakily.
surprised.
He's
I wouldn't-
sneaky.
I
You know
wouldn't
what I
be
mean?
surprised. I wouldn't be
He's going to be a
surprised.
bulldog. That's my prediction.
Well, look,
What's your prediction?
they
My
haven't,
prediction? Pain.
they haven't signed our halfback at the moment, so maybe haven't.
You're gonna have Burton's going to have to wear number 7.
I'd say that Lockie will go 7 and Burton will go 6 if he came to the club now, in terms of how they play, because I don't think Burton can play 7.
Yeah, but Lockie's a runner. He's not a.
Yeah, they'll just do the new system of the 2 running halves, sort of thing, the Cronulla way. But anyway,
Look at us jumping forward. But apparently
but he's going to play this year out anyway.
Well, he's been dropped.
He's been dropped.
He's been dropped for this
This is the
Monday's
issue.
game.
This is the
Yes.
issue.
He won't be playing matches
He
here.
can't, right?
It'll
Tam?
be-
He can't.
Whatever he does from now
Yeah.
until whenever will dictate his future,
So Paul,
just from
How much?
clear
on
recruitment
Paul
perspective.
Kent's, I don't know if you guys see Paul Kent's Blitz every afternoon. So this afternoon's, you know what? I'll play it for you guys live over the microphone, right? This is what Paul Kent said just a matter of hours ago.
Well, I guess if Candy's got some insight.
He's already basically agreed to terms with Parramatta. It's ready to go. Not allowed to do it, so that'll be denied. But it looks like for all intents he's going to Parramatta. The deal is all but done. It can't be done legally till after November 1.
No one said this Parramatta thing, by the way, so don't just slip that in there. That's big news.
Yeah, the Eels have been thrown up obviously as one of the teams, okay? One of the teams. Manly was another, Bulldogs were another. The understanding is, he is going to Parramatta. That they've agreed to terms. It's all done. I don't know the details of the terms. It can't be released until November 1 unless the Tigers give him permission to negotiate.
Sounds like Lomax all over again.
I hope it's true.
Could be, man.
So that's more manager driven than I want to improve myself because we don't know Jason yet.
Well, you know, I mean, there's nothing at Parramatta that says you're going to improve yourself.
Moses.
Right?
Moses.
No. I mean, in terms of if you're talking about, yes, I mean, playing alongside Mitch.
That's a big
yeah,
draw.
it is a big thing, but isn't playing alongside Luai
Exactly.
as well? I mean, he's won
don't
4
get
comps,
it.
right?
I know. I know. If he had something
or
sticks with-
Nathan Cleary at Penrith,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Or I don't get it.
You know what? I'm going to be.
he is a Parramatta fan. Let's not forget.
That's right.
But-
But as a junior, there.
Yeah,
I'll be interested.
Even Roosters.
bless you, Tanya.
Anyway, go.
I'll be interested to see where he lands, and when we find out where he lands, then things will become clearer. It's either he wants to go to a big club, or Isaac Moses has helped him out. Let's say, has showed him the
Well,
light.
we know one thing's for sure. You're not going to knock back a $5 million gig with nowhere to go. There's some, whether it's Para or the Bulldogs or
doesn't matter,
wherever,
yeah.
something's been agreed on
Yeah, for
behind the scenes.
How much money is he on at the Tigers now and next year?
350, I think.
Okay, so why would the
Onus.
Tigers? If I was the Tigers, I
Onus.
would not release him until 2027.
I,
Why would you release him?
there's two options, right? There's two ways to look at it, and I think you have to remove the emotion. A, we keep him this year, next year, and get the most out of him
Yeah, I would.
to help us have the best season we can.
I would.
Exactly.
Or B, we cut him and we just get a healthy, juicy transfer fee.
Yeah, but
from whoever it is.
we strengthen a rival, but
That doesn't-
when we shouldn't be strengthening a rival.
The
Just keep him.
question
I'd
is-
want to keep him.
I'd
and
want
get
to
the
keep
best
him,
out of him.
but it's not really working out with Dylan Brown at the moment. You know, it's what are you going to get out of him as well?
350. You're only losing 350 in the cap.
I
Dylan
know,
Brown, you've got 900 sitting there if you
Yeah,
don't use him.
yeah.
It's 350. It's a
I don't
junior.
know. If you
You don't want to play? Go juniors.
if-
That's
if-
what I'm paying
if-
them anyway.
If you
So
want to be an
please.
ass, you could put him in cup for the next year and a half.
You can. I would.
But that will come back to bite you
Why?
when he joins a new club.
Doesn't matter. I'll take the hit. I would. I
I'll
would take the
Tan,
hit.
we're talking too much. I haven't heard your voice
I'll
enough.
keep him. And I'd let him
Oh,
develop.
I just think because the way that I read it was he released a statement, or his dad, or whatever, or the agent, and then what has followed is that there's tensions in the club. Now, if he goes to another club and he leaves again, it's going to look bad. Like, one, he's 19, two, you know, if it is that, and despite what we think about Tigers or whatever, that's why I used imagine if he was, leaving Rabbitohs under Bennett. Whatever he does in the next few months will dictate his future.
Yeah.
He can be a
Yeah,
flash in the
I
pan,
agree.
but also he is 19, so I would
Yeah.
hope that he has the right people around him. But
I
I
just
don't
think
know.
it's a Tigers trait,
It's
right?
sad, yeah.
It's a
It's always
Tigers
thing.
trait. People are going to hate me who are listening to this for saying this. It's a Tigers trait that we've seen over the last 10 years, that anyone who gets off the bus and stops there for a while becomes Tigers property, right? And whether it's Tedesco or they're still calling Moses a Tigers junior. He's not, right? Anyone who leaves that club is just public enemy number one, blah, blah, blah. It's like once you go there, you're never allowed to leave. We own you and you're part, and that's it, right? We're talking about a kid who's played one season of first grade, who's decided he wants to change clubs. What's the big deal? Why do
Yeah.
they feel like he
Right,
owes them
okay,
something?
Right this they shouldn't. Right this moment, it shouldn't be a big deal. But T's right. What he does in his next couple of years is going to be. You can't take it for granted that he's going to develop and be the top player in the comp. He's got to actually get developed.
Yeah.
So if he thinks that already, because we've all told him he's going to be the best thing since sliced bread, and he just believes it, and his parents already obviously believe it, and Isaac obviously believes it. But if he believes it and he goes to a club without the right structures in it, he will be a flash in the pan, like T said.
Yeah.
So his next move
Is there a possibility that that's what he's seeing at the moment?
What do you mean?
Not he's in a club that doesn't have the right structure.
Maybe. And that's,
I mean, he's
that's what
got
I'm
great
thinking.
players around him.
That's what I'm thinking.
The coach is yet to be proven, right? But he's
learning.
got great
learning.
players around
He's
him.
learning. He's
But
learning.
There's a reason he doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the playing group. Maybe he doesn't get along with the boys. I don't know what it is.
I don't know about getting along with the boys, but in terms of coaching, I'll tell you that probably there's a big chance I can't. Benji's on his P plate. There's no doubt in my mind.
Benji's on his L place.
Well, LP, whatever you want to call it, he's still learning. He's going to take 5 to 6 years before he become a coach. What I hear is Jerome is right next to him. Jerome's got the whistle in his mouth as well. He's seen what a winning team looks like. So, so is Benji. But
He's got Coruscant. He's got good players around him.
Coruscant, yeah. So,
But for those two to get together and approach the coach and say we don't want him in the team, that's
happened,
untenable now. He's been
Well, it's-
rejected by his own teammates
That's untenable.
because guess what? He's doing exactly what they've done in the past. Change clubs.
He changed club, yeah.
Yeah, but he did it after winning 4 comps.
Doesn't matter.
And still, he's stuck. He got
No,
4 comps
well,
out of
so
it, man.
does Galvin
He gave Penrith 4 comps. Like he stayed there, they won
Well,
comps,
and they
then
gave
left.
him 4 comps as well.
Yeah, I know. So
I'm
he did
just saying, like,
desert them when they were building. You know, what I
No,
mean?
but okay. Well, how come Brent Naden wasn't treated the same way, or Charlie Staines
Because
when
they
they
weren't
left?
as good as Luai.
I'm talking about Galvin,
Oh, you talk about Galvin,
right? How come they weren't ostracised when they left Penrith?
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? I just think the kid, what's he done wrong?
Nothing.
But didn't we hear the same raps? Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't we hear the same raps with Luke Brooks? Next best thing, he's going to
course,
be
yeah.
at 19, and everyone was saying this guy's going to be
Yeah.
the next Andrew Johns and everything. And how did that work out?
Poor old Brooks.
No, but he didn't. He hasn't played Origin yet, has he?
Well, we never
but he
know.
was like the next big thing.
We never know, right? You never know with a teenager. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
the kid's got all the tools and everything, but you never know. He might
I know.
amount to nothing.
Exactly.
He might
You're
turn
right.
out to be the next. I mean, remember JT at that age?
Mm.
Yeah, I do. Actually, I do. It was at Canterbury.
You won a comp with him.
Yeah.
He did
You
win
know,
a
so
comp,
I
but
mean,
he looked a good still.
we don't know, and I'm not knocking the Tigers. All I'm saying is, let's put things into perspective here. You're talking about a kid who's played one season and decided he wants to change clubs. Why is everyone attacking him so much?
They shouldn't.
Why do the Tigers always feel like everyone owes them everything?
They shouldn't attack him.
I think they've just felt,
Everyone who leaves that club is public enemy number one.
But what makes it different is I think they've put all these pieces around him to make him.
They still hate
That's
Ivan
good.
Cleary. Look at what he did
Yeah.
after he left.
Yeah, but look, they put Luai, they got Appy, they got Buller. Like, they got this awesome team around him to help him, and now he said, "Nah, I want to leave."
That's
the
the
team-
I think that's what's hurting him. That's
But
what's
the
hurting
team,
him.
Yeah,
the
that's
team,
how,
wait a
that's how I
second.
see it
That's
too.
the
Wait a second. The team wasn't built for him. Coruscant was signed 2-3 years ago. Luai was signed almost 2 years ago. No one even heard of Lachlan Galvin
Yeah, but
2 years ago.
what-
Don't say that
No,
the team
but-
was built around
it
him.
was
No,
built.
but what we're saying is there's enough pieces there.
It looks,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now,
It-
yeah,
No,
but
no,
but
no.
let's not. Don't try and sell that. Oh, this whole team's been built
No,
around him
no.
for him. That's
He's a
bullshit.
9-year-old.
No, he's got good mentors. Like the guys that came over
Yeah.
from last year, Panthers to Tigers, they've transitioned fine, right? And then you've got a guy that's been propped by gold, given a $6 million contract, and what Dad and Moses' dad thinks that he can get better. And also, why announce it in April when he's supposed to leave in November?
Because
like
the,
you
clu-
said,
the reason it was announced in April is because the club tried to force a deal on him.
Yeah.
And so he had to
Yeah,
give a response.
That's right.
That's on the Tigers, not him.
Totally.
Right? They had until November to play this. They played it completely wrong. Completely. They tried to rush it. They tried to
well,
bum
if
rush
it's
it.
true,
think it
if it's
backfired.
true
Right?
that they
It's backfired hard. Richo shot himself in the foot. They had until November to play this card, and they've tried to seal it up quickly and quietly, and it's backfired.
Because it's the biggest deal for a junior in their history of the club.
Yeah,
Mm.
they
And they
forced
thought
him into
because
making
of that, they're going to get him in.
Tanya, they forced him into making a call.
Yeah.
well, it depends on how you read it. Like I kind of agree with Artie where it's like, well, you have this opportunity. Who cares if they're a wooden spoon last year? You have people around you that can support you. And here, all of a sudden, what you think you're too good and you're going to go somewhere else, and then you're going to have a nice polished. Like all I'm saying is, what follows after this will dictate his future.
Yeah.
But
That's,
we don't
you know.
we don't know what's happening behind. Like, there's a reason he doesn't want to be there.
There's a reason why he wants.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
And if the
it's
reason
sure as
is,
hell-
if the reason is,
it's not a money thing.
No, I don't think it's a money thing. And
And-
we're sitting here talking like this and very passionate because potentially he could be something extremely
I think he
out
will
of the
be.
box.
I think he will be.
Extremely out of the box.
See, Benji bought.
Yeah, he could be, but if he can't handle a difficult environment where he can't get along with the team, which is how I read it, then he's got to
Is that what they're
think
is
about
that
another
what,
career.
Is that what they're saying? Or is that what they're saying?
That's
as
how
well?
I read it, that there was a lot of tensions in between and he struggled to be coached by Benji.
Okay.
And if that's the case,
Tan,
you got to
if he walks
get off the
into
bar.
if he walks into a team that embraces him, it's a completely different environment.
I feel like they probably were embracing him until
They
the point.
f-
Anyway,
They definitely.
anyway,
I think Benji. He brought in Jaden Sullivan last year, and he brought in another half. Was it Caesar or someone? He bought these two halves, right? And during the off season, Galvin brained it and put him in ahead of those two. That's how much faith Benji put on this kid. He goes, you know what? You're impressing me. A lot of coaches don't do that.
No.
Yeah, look at Canterbury. They've got Mitchell Woods now. He hasn't even touched number 7 yet in first grade.
No way.
Whereas Benji, he gave this kid straight away a go. And look how he developed last
It was
year.
actually
Everyone's talking about
Benji
him.
Marshall himself. Again, I forget where I heard this. It was just yesterday. Benji Marshall himself, when he broke into first grade, was given 3 games by Tim Sheens.
Yeah.
The following season, he was given 4 games.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I
So he was bled over 2 years before he,
exactly.
you know. Whereas Benji's he's put Galvin in.
Yep.
Yeah, and absolutely,
would've graded.
Benji has given him his shot, and
Exactly.
the club has given him an opportunity to be where he is now. But the club also forced his hand.
Yeah, I
and
know.
said we want a decision, and it was like, well, if you're forcing me to make a call,
That's it.
I'm not comfortable doing that now. So no, I
yeah.
don't
Well,
want to be here.
also from a recruitment
Don't force me to
perspective,
make. You know, I can speak from experience from all the women who come out and they want answers from me. They want dates. You know, they want we want an
do
answer
it.
now. I'm like,
Gotta
girls,
wait.
I need time. You know, I've got to
Gotta
think about it.
Gotta wait.
I think
no, but from a recruitment perspective, so Benji gave him a shot. They then put the money on the table, the biggest contract for a junior.
Yeah.
They then tried to put people around him, invested in him from a recruitment as a business owner. And then he's gone, nah. And once they've been like, hey, can you sign the contract, which is actually fair commercially, he's gone, nah. And then hidden behind his manager. Like, I just go, the investment that you put in a kid, or like, just think, if you go really granular, I don't blame them for trying to put it on him. Also, again, like, it just, I think I look at things differently, but
No,
and I didn't even
You're right. Yeah,
Well, see,
I agree with you.
I don't think he is hiding behind his manager. I think his manager and his parents are dictating every move.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
and
You know,
but also, like, I think it's,
and
the
why,
boys-
Tanya? Why would he knock that deal back?
Yeah, I know.
Why would he knock that deal? That's $5
not
million
king.
bucks for 5
Well,
years.
Kenty knows. Kenty just said why.
But
'Cause he's
not
signed
gonna-
for
I don't-
Parramatta.
But I don't think he's going to get more somewhere else, right?
Won't get more.
Like, what's the
Lomax
reason?
did it.
What's the reason?
you
Like,
can't hack it, Nick.
maybe
That's what it is.
Maybe
You
he's
can't
just
hack
unhappy
it.
there.
Yeah.
That's what
You know
I
what I
think.
mean? Like,
That's what I think.
everyone's always looking for. Maybe he's just not happy there.
That's what I think.
Nick, I'm telling you, if I gave someone a $6 million contract and they spread rumors and then got their parents and their manager involved, and then I had to respond, I'd be pretty pissed off
Tanya,
too.
how
And
can you
I'd be
not?
like,
His
"What are you doing?"
manager's there for that very reason, to be his
No,
manager.
I'm just saying.
And he's 19
there's a
years
lot-
old, so his parents are going to be involved in whatever decision he makes.
Yeah.
Imagine if it's your son at 19 years old, are you not going to be involved with his manager at that point with a big
I
decision?
would be
like
the
that?
manager. But you know
There you
yourself,
go.
when you invest in a team member or Georgia staff member or
Yeah.
Artie or whoever, and the time, like printing, like marketing, everything, like it's like, and then to turn around and say, oh, I was going to leave this till later in the season. No, you weren't, mate. You've got another deal somewhere else. And that next place you go to, you better like comply, because it's just going to look like you're a problem.
I agree with that.
And
I don't think it's. I think it's crazy to think that he doesn't have a deal somewhere else. He'd have to.
Yeah.
You would. I
Mm.
mean, don't forget. Like, see, I look at it another way as well, right? I've got to give the kid credit, because by saying I want to test my value on November 1, if he has a season from hell, his market value goes in the toilet 6 months from now. That's a risk. Again, he might already have a deal, so it won't matter.
That's why the Tigers don't play
But
him.
that's a risk too, right?
That's why I wouldn't play him.
Yeah, that's a big risk for him.
Mm.
If he goes, I want to test myself, and then he has a horrible season, and people are looking at it, I'm sure the way Newcastle are looking at Dylan Brown now, right? That's the risk you run as well. So it takes some jats crackers to do that too,
Someone.
unless
Well,
there's an
it's
under the table deal
It's
already.
going to
in
lead to
place.
what he does now will be a testament to his credibility. If he's saying
Yeah.
that he's staying till November, and he doesn't, or if he stays till November and causes shit, then that's the type of person he is.
I don't think he.
Do you know?
I
I don't think he
I find
will.
that hard.
I've
Yeah, I know. I don't
him
think he
fo-
will. He doesn't look the type.
causing shit. I really find that hard. Look, I think things happened around him, and I think some people are hanging on to his coattails because maybe they find an opportunity here. As a young man, there's an opportunity that there's a lot of people that can make some money out of his long
yeah,
career.
he's not making the decision. And look,
At
I don't
19, no.
think
At 19,
anything.
no. The kid just wants to play footy. Now,
Yeah.
again,
He's got a $6 million contract to do that.
well, I would have taken it. I won't lie to you. I would have taken it, and it hurts me
Yeah.
him leaving because of everything we've said. That we've seen his team struggle and been bashed up from pillar to post, and we're seeing some green shoots. And unfortunately, another one which we think potentially could be a great is going. But look, I agree with Nick as well. No one's actually done the wrong here. No one's actually Lockie hasn't done wrong. He's moving on, or he's testing his market. I will too. You know the interesting thing. If he keeps on playing like he's playing right this moment, and he actually did test the market, someone will jump 1.6. I'll tell you now.
You reckon it'll be that much?
Someone will jump, and the reason being is if you want someone, because look how much Dylan got. Look how much Dylan Brown got.
Yeah.
If you want someone and you spend 200 over and you haven't got it, what's that cost you? If you haven't got him, if you need him and you haven't got him. So for argument's sake, put Lockie into Newcastle, take Dylan away. Okay, guess what? What's the bet? He can put Ponga on outside shoulders. Dylan can't, probably.
How do you know?
But Dylan, he's been doing it now under distress.
Be interesting to
Does
see
it
how this
now?
plays out.
But yeah, I can't wait. The signing will tell us everything.
Yeah,
Wherever he's going. He's either going to a big club where he can supposedly develop and all the rest, or he's going to Parramatta, and obviously that's a Moses signing.
Yeah.
And look, it's okay. There's nothing wrong, as long as we watch him play.
Okay, so here's one last question, Tanya, I've got for you, and then let's move on, right? Is he going to be a Tiger at the end of the season, or is he going to be somewhere else?
Oh no,
Somewhere else.
No,
He
it's
won't be,
untenable.
He will be.
Who will be at the end?
Shane Richardson is a very, very smart operator, and
Yep.
he won't let him go.
You won't let him
Okay.
go?
Well,
Why
he
would
said he won't.
I would
He
let
said-
him
he said he
go.
won't.
Okay.
He'd be stupid to. It'd be a dumb
I agree.
move.
No, I agree. But I
Yeah, but
can
if they're not
see it.
playing him in first grade,
Doesn't
it's
matter.
just
It's
a waste.
350,000.
No, it's not even that. It's not even
Deal.
that. He'll unstabilize the place.
Doesn't matter. Go
Well, it
in-
doesn't matter.
In Reggie's.
No, even there, he will
Doesn't matter.
unstabilize the place.
Well, do you remember?
Let him sit at home.
Do you remember when Mitch Moses wanted out of there?
Mitch.
He started kicking stones,
Yeah.
and
You know what? If I was the West Tigers and Isaac Moses brought a player over, I'd say, see you later. I wouldn't do any more deals with that guy because he has screwed the Tigers hard
there's
every
no-
time.
Everyone criticizes Isaac Moses, and I'm not a fan of
his
how he
job.
operates.
But he gets the money.
He gets the
money.
best
He
deals
does.
for his clients.
He does. But not many clubs are going to want to deal with him
He's the best
later,
agent-
and he's not going to have many
and
clients.
he's got half the coaches under his belt.
Exactly, but still.
Right? He gets the best deals for he's the
That's
best
why
operator.
Manly might be a good fit because he doesn't.
He's got
own-
Seabold
He's got
and half
everyone
of
at
the team.
Manly.
Yeah.
so
We didn't say anything about
I'll give you a
Manly.
half price deal for
Yes.
Brooks for.
We didn't say anything about Manly, mate.
All right, let's
well, they're
move,
losing DCE. so
let's
yeah.
move on. Let's move on to another controversial. Everyone saw what happened between when the Broncos played the Roosters.
This would be interesting.
Spencer Leniu and Jonathan Thurston. Tan, I want to start with you.
Yeah.
Who is he? Like, one, don't come up to a great while he's doing his job because you're butthurt about something that happened 12 months ago.
I think JT went up to
That
him.
was an opinion.
Yeah.
I think JT went up to him.
Well, however, it was like,
Well, from what I understand,
But
he got substituted
don't
off
do
the
that.
field, and when he was walking
because I
off,
was actually at the game.
he gave JT
Yeah.
a mouthful
Oh,
on his way
okay.
off, and then JT approached him to say, "What's your
Yep.
problem?"
Yeah,
Okay.
he did it first.
I didn't know
Okay.
that.
Yeah. And then JT hung around for an hour to wait to talk, and he didn't come out, but Tedesco, it was released Tedesco and the manager came out. But sorry, who are you? Like, I don't know who he is. And also don't do that there is a time and place to do that. If he has an issue with something that was said 12 months ago, and really the opinion was, I don't feel like the ban was fair and it should have been extended, from, and JT played in an earlier time where he was vilified and racially discriminated against, so it probably hit harder with him. It shows to me that old mate isn't repentant as well, by the way. And I was there at the game because we saw it, but we didn't understand what was happening. You're doing that in front of children who are waiting to get an autograph. Pick your time, mate. That's just.
I think it was stupid and wrong the way he did it, but I understand why he was pissed at JT there, because
Yeah.
let's call a spade a spade. Can I say that? Right? Lenu called Ezra Mann a monkey, and he got an 8-week ban, and JT said he should have got a 12-week ban. But the same guy who got called a monkey got high on coke, drove an unregistered car without a license, smashed someone, put someone in hospital, and he got a 9-week ban, 1 week more. And he's saying, well, if you're so criticizing me so bad, how come you haven't said anything about him?
Yeah.
Which he didn't.
Mhm.
JT didn't
Well,
say anything about
he was
Ezra
never
Mann.
asked. He was never asked about that.
Well,
and that
I mean,
incident
that's
was
a
part.
very semantic hair split. Come on.
But also, don't do that in front of children.
No, I
At a
agree.
game.
The way he did it was stupid.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the fact that he went and put an Instagram post. I mean, this generation of football players like the Spencer Lenus, they're earning so much money. 12 years from now, you know what they're going to be saying? Would you like fries with that?
Yeah.
That's how idiotic these players are.
But you
honestly.
can-
There's just a respect thing here.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I don't mind if he went and pulled him aside afterwards, or I don't know, maybe 2 weeks after he made the comment, not 12 months down the track, to someone that's a commentator. Because and look, if we're calling anyone's character into question, like things that JT did, things that Ezra Mam did, whatever, regardless, like everyone's got a shit period of their life or whatever it might be if you're a footy player. That's not how you do it. So you're trying to regain some sense of I don't know, notoriety, or he was trying to make himself look good. But the way that he did it has called his character into question. That's all.
Yeah, everybody knows how I feel about the Spencer thing and the Ezra Mann thing. It's something long-seated, something that goes back a long, long, long time. It goes back to a certain grand final, and Spencer, for some reason, Spencer's got people living in his head rent-free. So I suggest Spencer should sort of let it go. I think.
Why would you do it on live TV?
Yeah.
In front of everyone.
Because as T said, he could have done it. He could have done it better. I think Spencer's got the issue. J2 went on a few pods, 2 or 3 pods continuously, and said the same thing.
He did. He said repeatedly, he goes, they should have got 12 weeks out,
So
he called someone a monkey, fair enough, right?
Not nice.
But with what Ezra Mann did, JT didn't criticise that at all. At all. And you know what else makes me laugh about this whole situation? The NRL's response is that we're not going to get involved unless one of the parties. Well, you get involved with everything else.
Yeah, they do.
You stick your nose in literally everything else, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so
if that's not putting the game into disrepute, what Spencer Lenu did, then what is? So it was on live television.
So all I would say is, on that night, if you're a 9-year-old and you saw that happen, what would you remember?
Exactly.
And so
that's my point.
These guys
That's my point.
want to be seen to be, like heroes in kids' eyes. There's a time and place to do it.
And
Just go out the back.
And the NRL decided there's no case to answer, but we don't get involved because no one's complained.
Yeah. So you just put a different spin on it for me.
But doesn't it go to show how much it's affected Lenu now?
Yes.
Like, think about it. He said a comment of monkey, and he got accused of being an absolute racist.
He got the worst ban in the game.
In the
last
worst
year.
game. So in his head, he has been absolutely ostracized. He's been smashed.
Yep.
And it's in his head, and then it just sparked up again. And it just burned him, and he just reacted. He shouldn't have reacted the way he did. That was wrong. But you can tell how much it's affected him. That whole monkey thing.
I'll tell you what else as well. Reese has got his number, and Reese. Walsh.
Yeah.
He's got his number, and Reese did what Reese does again to him. Yeah, as you do.
Yeah.
To put him off the game, and that's how it all escalated.
Yeah, no, it was going on apparently during the game.
In the game, he was just giving it to him, and like I said,
just pick on him.
and that's why when he came off, he got upset. Look,
He should
He's
make an
got- he's got to
apology though,
park
just
it.
to the not
He's-
to
he's got to
Ezra or
park it.
whatever, or to Jonathan, at least to the public for what he did. His
Absolutely.
outburst. If he's
Well,
angry with
T-
Jonathan,
T-
fair enough.
T
but
gave us a different angle for the kids. I never,
Exactly,
I
yeah.
never even thought about the kids.
But
Okay?
you-
And she had both kids there.
yeah,
So look, I never thought of that. I went straight to is Ezra a man or is Jonathan Thurston right? They're both right and they're both wrong. But if Spencer can just park it or just get it out of his head and just concentrate. on rugby
You know
league.
what I thought was even worse? Trent Robinson defending Spencer Lenu in the press
Oh,
conference.
that's his job, man.
I mean,
That's his job.
he did it.
That's his job.
Imagine how the dressing room would have been with.
That's
yeah,
his
but
job.
he doesn't know what happened. So
It's
he,
a tough situation.
Yeah, I don't even know if Robbo knows the whole story from the grand final. I don't even know if he knows that. He just sees what's happening in front of him. I don't think Spencer will sit down and tell him the whole story.
Look at the Broncos. Do you think they've gone down hard on Ezra? It's like they've supported him. Like they were trying to get him to play some
support him.
games, and look what he's done, which is far worse. Like you can't criticise.
Well, you got to support Israel.
You got to support
You
your
gotta
players,
support Israel, yeah.
unfortunately. even
But
if they're
anyway,
wrong,
look,
but
it's. I hope it's parked now. I hope.
I don't think it will be though. I reckon it'll come up again.
I hope Spencer parks it. Like, you don't need the you don't need all this stuff. And you know what? I think Jonathan was just caught in the crossfire. That's all. I don't think it was planned or done. I just think he just caught up in the crossfire because we can start Latrell and start all these Indigenous stars, be it commentators or players, who said something about him calling Israel a monkey. So Jonathan was just caught in crossfire, unfortunately. And it is unfortunate because, as T said, the guy's a
But
commentator, a legend, and so forth.
But George, you just said now that he went on 3 pods and said the same thing.
He did.
about Lenu. So
He did. No, I agree. You know what?
he wasn't just asked. He actually went and
look,
stated it 3 times.
Adi, you know how I feel about this. I'm
Okay,
trying to
sure,
hold. I'm trying to hold my tongue. I'm trying to hold my tongue. You all know very.
Yeah, I know,
I'm
I
very
know.
clear. What I think. I don't think Israel should play in a role for the
This year.
next 2 years. Don't worry about this year.
Oh, I agree.
You know what I mean?
Complete, but also, and my kids weren't close enough to that. It was the first time I brought my kids to Suncorp.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing too, and I'm sure we'll talk about it, or I will, the game itself, but the fact that not just the fact, because a lot of the comments are talking about like, JT and stuff, have some respect, mate. You're 24. Did you do what JT did and then also go on to set up a company to support Indigenous
He
youth?
never will.
Like, who are you?
He never
And
will.
who are you to do that in front of people? And all those, because they did it, we were sitting right near there. All the kids were waiting because it was kind of near the entry for our horsebuck. All the kids were there. And forever will those kids think of it that way.
Yeah.
That's it. That might be their first experience or whatever. It's just gross behavior. And it's like, well, this is what we go back to with everything, Ezra, everything. If it is your job to represent your company or your club or whatever in every way, if you can't hold it together, don't be there and don't do it in public, essentially. Do it somewhere else.
Hopefully, Robbo's spoken to him and he can hold his stuff together again. And like I said, there's people living in his head rent free, be it Israel, be it Reese, be it whoever. There's people living in his head. So I hope Spencer just gets it out of his head. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't needed. But
No.
Reese has got his number.
Yeah.
Reese has got his
Anyways.
number. You just mentioned Buck. Let me tell you about Buck T. Last time I went to Suncorp, okay, Canterbury got beaten so badly. I was sick and tired of seeing Buck running around the field. Let me tell you, I think Buck had enough of running around. He didn't want to do any more. I didn't want to do any more laps. So yeah, I can't wait to see Buck again. I don't want to see Buck ever again.
I said to the boys, were like, is that a real horse? And I'm like, yeah, that's Buck. And then I was like, Buck looked different a couple of years ago, different colour.
Well, you got to change Buck occasionally.
Remember the 12th man?
The 12th man, yeah.
Gary Buckenara.
Buck it up.
He had a bucking beauty last week and he was bucking great again today. All right, let's move on to the week that was. We're going to do something a little bit different this week. We're each going to review 2 games, right?
Yeah.
So, George, why don't you kick us off with the Dolphins and the Soul Takers?
The Soul
Penrith.
Takers, there's no more No more souls been taken, unfortunately, Nicola. You know, Nicola.
It's funny, Parramatta and Penrith, they're equal first at the top of the table. If you flip it upside down, we're in good company.
That's it.
You know, when your game plan is to bash the living daylight out of teams and you can't do that anymore, the game plan falls apart really, really, really quickly, Nicola. I'm stunned. I'm stunned what I'm seeing because I thought by now, maybe not back to their best, but some improvement. But I think they're going backwards.
It's such a different lineup, though.
It is.
It looks
It
so
is.
different.
It is. Look, beside Amirati in the back line, I think they're all having a very poor season. And the forwards, they're no better. They're no better. There's a massive freeway down the middle, which the Dolphins took. And poor Isaac, what's his name?
Yeah.
No, Isaac
Tungo.
Tiger.
Tungo, yeah.
He's forgotten how to tackle. He's forgotten how to mark up.
Exactly.
He's a turnstile out there, and Dylan Edwards is no better. He must be injured. There's no doubt in my mind. Dylan Edwards is injured because I haven't seen him play like that ever. And look, people like Casey McLean. There's so much. Not only the top line players have left, they've taken the next generation. Nicola.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So we had the Dolphins had Isaac
Katoa.
Now he was the understudy for Nathan and for Jerome, but
Yeah.
they took him and they keep not only they took the top players, they took all the next generation. So we're going down to kids like McLean, which to me he looks like he's 1 year away from being a regular first grader. I understand why they reluctantly played Blaze. I don't think Blaze is ready to be a Panther.
Not setting the house on fire, is he?
No. Look, I think it's just a matter of time for Blaze because we saw what he did last year. But I understand now why they held him back, and the forwards are like marshmallow. I mean, very, very, very disappointing, and I really don't see how they're going to get out of this. I really, really don't. And there's a reason I played the song at the start because I'm going to call it like I don't think they'll make the 8, and if they do make the 8, it'll be a miracle, unless they can go out tomorrow and turn it around. I can't see it happening because I mean players like Luke Summers. I mean,
I've never heard of her.
yeah, and not only that, like if you haven't heard of her, he comes to first grade and knocks it out. But he looks like he's a Reggie player. So when has Penrith graded a player and he looks like he's a Reggie player?
It's what we were saying last week, George. They just can't churn them out quick
They
enough.
can't churn them out quick enough.
Yeah,
Damn shame.
the production line just isn't fast enough.
What happened to Sonny? That guy Sonny they had, the hooker.
I think he's injured.
Oh, okay.
I think he's injured. But who would think that Jerome and the Fish were the two key missing?
I think for me, I think it was like the last two plugs holding the bucket.
Exactly.
It's everything over the last 3 years.
Yeah, I know.
A whole first grade team has
Yeah.
been ripped out of that.
They were scraping through last
You know,
year. They were
yeah,
playing
right?
poorly the whole year, and then they just held on until the end. And
I think it
got
was just like the last piece of the puzzle type thing because
Absolutely.
they've lost so much talent.
It's
It's
hard.
like
in the
Band-Aids
last-
were coming out.
I
They just put the
actually-
Band-Aid.
I actually text
Yeah.
T that it's heartbreaking. It really
Yeah.
is.
Not for me, it's not.
Because of the decline, not because of their
Stop
playing,
it.
not because of their playing bad, or just because of the rapid decline.
What
'Cause
part's
teams-
heartbreaking?
Oh, I like watching good rugby league. I like
Yeah,
watching
yeah.
exciting rugby league.
I get no
on-
sympathy here.
on,
for that
on
shirt.
the on the flip, I didn't expect the Dolphins could play this well.
Yeah.
I did not expect. I didn't think Daniel Saifidi
Yes.
could play this well.
He's playing really well.
I am stunned.
I thought we were just waiting for it.
Daniel Saifidi.
No, the Dolphins.
Yeah. Look, I was hoping. I can see Max Plath covered in maroon this year.
Oh, for sure.
If he keeps on playing like he is,
Future player.
He's got to have a maroon on his back. There's no doubt in my mind. How good is it to see the hammer in open air? I said
He
it
was
again.
fantastic.
You either give him early ball and let him do his magic, or you put him on shoulders. And guess what? They're doing both. Isaiah Katoa is doing both. Herbie Farnsworth he keeps on impressing me. He just keeps on getting better and better and better. Someone who kills me, Jake Avarillo, it hurts. He's to be in blue and white, you know what I mean? And your man, Zaka, back into form.
Okay.
Yeah.
God, he's so, and how good. Like, I think because I know Bennett was, we talked about this last year, always going back to the Rabbitohs, but it's so nice to see the last 2 weeks like Dolphins win. Like, it's like not like because obviously Bennett's very respected, but it's also everyone was kind of like, oh, Dolphins aren't going to do that well. And look,
I
we're
thought
in
so.
round 7 now, but it's nice to see like that they don't need, a name to do well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Super coach.
Absolutely.
I love the game personally.
No, it was look, in terms of the Finns up for me. I love seeing the Finns do well. 30-12, I don't think indicated the game. I think the Finns should have scored a few more than that. That's how far away I think Penrith were. I'm dying to see Penrith this week again because I'm dying to see them back on the horse, and I'm dying to see the Finns again because I'm enjoying watching them play, Nicola. Very disappointing Penrith, and I think they're going to continue to be disappointing. And Finns up.
3, 2, 1, Artie?
3, 2, 1. Hammer Sal to bow to the hammer. Let's call it.
The hammer.
The hammer. It's easier.
The hammer.
He got the 3 points. Isaiah Katoa got the 2 points, the halfback, and Avarillo got the 1 point. But just with Penrith, a lot of passing, man. They kept throwing the ball around. They kept losing it. I don't know why. They're trying too hard.
The mistakes. They can't get out of their bad ball like they used to. It was one of their highlights. How good they could get out of their ball, and they're kicking on the halfway. So all of a sudden they're attacking, and the other team's coming off their line. They don't do these things anymore. Mistakes. My God, I've never seen so many mistakes. Don't worry about them. Any team, you know what I mean? It's heartbreaking. They're a mess. They're a shambles.
Yeah.
They got freeway straight through the middle. They got outside backs can't read a play. I can't start. I don't know where to start with them.
Yeah.
I don't know where to start with them. But the Finns, mate, defended well, ran well. They're good. They're great. Love them.
That's
Love watching
it.
them.
Dragons returned to the winner's circle.
We did, yes.
Nice 38 points to 16 win over the Gold Coast. Talk us through it.
It was a great win. Titans were pretty disappointing, and after coming from a loss, expected a lot better. I thought they'd come out firing, but yeah, they were terrible. The only good light, shining light in that was David Fafita. I thought he was outstanding in that game. He was really, really good. No Tino, so he took it upon himself to sort of get him forward. But the Dragons, they can only play what's in front of them, and they played a Titans who were poor. There was one big turning point I found in that game where one of the Titans players didn't play the ball properly, and they got penalised for it. And St George scored 3 tries after that to get to 24-4 half-time. And from there, it was all over. But at the end of the day, I thought this was just good coaching from Flano because I think Desi expected King Gutho to get a lot of the ball, but they were playing away from King Gutho. They were giving a lot of the ball to Flanagan and Elias, and they did a great job going around him. And it played dividends. And
good bounce back for Elias.
It was. Yeah. Look, for that plan to work for Flano, he needed his halves to fire, and Flanagan and Elias took it on, which was really good. Val Holmes had one of his best games for the Dragons so far. That little sidestep he did through was amazing. That guy's got it. He runs like a gazelle. He just looks so good when he runs. But end of the day, St George played really well. Shout out to Dylan Egan, the young kid. He played 79 minutes, and he was outstanding. This guy is our future. Topped the tackle count, ran over 100 metres, scored a try. This is his second NRL game. Kid from Gerringong. There's 3 of them. There's him, Hamish Stewart, and Couchman. So they're our future. Great win by the Dragons.
Lalua.
I think they're due for a loss now because they've had a win. But look, another thing I wanted to point out, this time last year, right, round 6, we'd scored 106 points, and everyone said this year we're going to struggle to get points because we're losing Lomax and Hunt. Well, we've played 1 game less and we've scored 118 points. Yeah. Five games, 118. And that's a credit to Gutho and the spine that he's put in, Cook and the halves. So,
how's Cook going? I haven't seen much.
He's doing all right. He's doing all right. But it's a credit to Flano for getting more points for the Dragons. And good signs. Good signs. Anything else you guys want to add?
Just off the bench, Lua. That's his spot.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
Luciano.
come-
Yeah, he was
Luciano
fantastic off the
comes
bench,
on
yeah.
with energy when the heat's off. He's a big body. He runs lines at the edges,
Mm.
and he that's the guy who gave Holmes the ball.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So he's a good thing. And you gave praise to Ilias. Ilias might be the best Reggie
yeah.
in the world, but he's
Yeah.
not a first grader.
I hope. Yeah. Well, look, give him more time. He's
I
coming
know,
off
I'm
a
going
broken.
to
Yeah,
give
but
him
yeah.
more time, but at the moment he might, when he
Yeah.
goes back to the Reggies, he's the best Reggie in the world,
Mm.
but he's not quite a first grader.
Yeah.
Not quite.
And we had the money man back.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it.
Finally allowed it again, has he?
Well, he said when they're winning to do it, not when you're losing 28-0 or something.
You know, I was waiting. He scored the first try,
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
Scored that second try, the money came out. He was on the bench. Did you see on the bench?
Yeah, I know, and he
he's
still
come
did
in
it.
the
Yeah,
bench.
yeah.
Oh,
I
I
don't,
loved
I
it.
don't understand. I'll get to it later when we talk the Para game, but we were losing 64-0. Adokar scores a try. And he
Yes.
starts, what is that?
What was that? I noticed
That's
that
why I
too.
can't stand the guy.
What did he do?
He was Adokar.
Celebrating like they'd done
What are
something.
you're losing 68-0. What are you celebrating?
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's exciting.
Artie,
It's
give us the
exciting.
3-2-1.
3-2-1 was Dylan Egan, got the 3 points. Valentine Hones got the 2. And I had to give David Fafita. He was outstanding for the
good.
Titans.
Yeah,
He got the 1 point.
It was good.
And I'm going to turn to north of the border. Can talk us through Broncos, Roosters. Obviously, the Punky Brewsters won away from home, 26 points to 16 over the Bronx. Tanya, you were there. What happened?
So Roosters and Broncos games live are probably the most aggressive games to watch at Suncorp. Like just even in the crowd, like it's almost like Origin at Suncorp. The fact that the Roosters had like 3 set restarts in the first 20 minutes and Broncos had none, like you telling me that the Roosters played perfectly. I actually spoke to my Roosters mate, supporter mate the other day, and he's like, the Roosters didn't win, the Broncos just lost. Like that, I feel like the Broncos could have won, but they were flat. I feel like the reffing was really unfair. And there was so many ridiculous calls when I think I was talking to you, Nick, that Staggs basically, almost got crushed and then he got sent off. Like it was the most ridiculous, anyway, I'm not going to go into it because we'll talk for another hour, but
consistency
I
is the
feel
one
like
problem we're having week in, week out in every game.
yeah, the
Always
reffing.
the same problem,
So
yeah.
you're telling me that the Roosters played a perfect game. Their ruck, everything was perfect. So Broncos didn't get no set restarts. And I just think Broncos are flat, but Roosters shouldn't have won. But I don't feel like they won. Broncos just lost. And in true form, as we spoke about before, it just ended with a Roosters player just doing another shit thing. That just summed up the whole game for me, really.
And
But
that whole Lenu thing again, like going back to it, like if you haven't yet, watch the press conference with Trent Robinson. If that's not enabling, I don't know what is. Like he's just flat out defend. He's done nothing wrong. You know, you blokes, the media are creating all this. Like, dude, what planet are you on? Like, well, how about you put him into line and say that's not how our club wants to be represented on live television? You know what I mean? That's my 20 cents worth.
The boys are pretty upset. And I was like, look, it's fine. Like it's 6th round. Like so a lot of my friends were like texting me and they're like, no, it's done. And I was like, if I'm not mad, you can't be mad. I did possibly suggest that the ref get sent off at some point. I don't know. The Broncos are flat. I feel like the calls were terrible. And they shouldn't have won.
Is that a bit of a
That's all.
concern for
Are you
you?
remembering watching the footy with me, Nick?
No,
Is that
I'm
why you're
laughing.
laughing?
Sorry, I'm laughing because you said the ref getting sent off. I'm laughing because, as Artie would know, in soccer, as a player, if you get an accumulation of 3 yellow cards, you get suspended for a match, right? Well, in Napoli's last game, the coach was suspended because he had 3 yellow cards. There's a coach accumulate 3 yellow cards on a that's why I was laughing because I thought about that when you anyway.
Tanya, as a Broncos supporter, you would be concerned a little bit with. Do you feel like they're a bit sort of arrogant?
All over the place.
No, with the Broncos, they go in thinking they've won already without trying. You know what I mean?
I said this a couple of rounds ago, and the thing is also get rid of Walters. Stags and Walshy, pull your head in and read one of the books behind me that from the 80s on how to play rugby league. And stop acting like you guys are awesome that you've been doing for the last 2 years. Get in and grind and stop getting involved in stuff. Like for me, everyone loves Walshy and Stags, and I believe that when they're on. But also there's an element of, even with this, like my kids love Stags. I'm like, what has he done? Like yes, he's a good player, everything else, but don't forget he replaced Mariner, and I loved Mariner. I thought he was great. They didn't even have him on the bench this go. And also, let's look at other players that like Arthur's. What about Willison? Like Willison will end up where Sailor is if they don't utilize him. So, the short answer is yes, I do. I can see them more critically, I think. Origin, it's a different story. We're Angels, but Broncos, they just need to sort it out. They're all over the place.
Look, it's good. They're still developing. It's still very early. And the important thing is that they've got all the equipment. All they need is just to develop. This is good that it happens now. Yeah, it's good that it happens now.
They got the right coach.
They got the right coach, and they got all the equipment they need. So just a matter of time.
Who got the points, Hardy?
3 points went to the guy that's absolutely killing it this year, and Tedesco. He had another outstanding game, and they're not winning every game, but he's the best player in the Roosters so far. Angus Crichton, sorry Tanya, Angus Crichton got the 2 points, and Payne Haas was the best of the Bronx.
Yeah, and going back to that Spencer Linear situation in the locker rooms after the game, you had two JTs.
You're gonna roll me up.
No, I was just going to say you had two JTs talking to Trent Robinson, James Tedesco and Jonathan Thurston.
That's it.
There we go.
Well,
Teddy just needs to get some pants that fit him. You don't want to see that.
So Super Saturday kicked off with the Sharks, a tight one, 24 points to 18 over the Manly Seagulls.
That's
Artie,
my one, isn't
tell
it?
us what happened here.
I don't know about you guys, but I found this a bit of a bludger. Sharks.
I'm happy you said that.
The Sharks did enough to win. All right, it was 8-0 at halftime, 2 tries unconverted by Nico. Will Kennedy gets bagged by the Sharks scores, but he was outstanding. He scored he scored a really good try. It got disallowed. 5 minutes later, he scored another one, which was allowed. Both of them off great work, but Sharks went in 8-0 and then 14-0, and then after that, it was sort of all over. They were just sort of cruising. I think Sharks are doing something different this year. They're just winning games. They're not going out to bash the bottom 8 sides. If they know they're going to win, they're just going to play through the game as they can and not risk any injury and get the 2 points and get out of there.
You reckon that's what it is?
What's that?
You reckon that's what it is?
I think so. And then put something up their sleeve, so when they get to the finals, that's when they can explode. That's what I'm hoping. It was one of Nico Hines' best games so far, I feel.
Yeah.
He broke a few lines and did well. It was good to see Hazelton back and Talakai. They were good when they came back. They missed them, that's for sure.
Maybe Hines should do a few lines every week.
That's it. Maybe. He should, maybe, yeah. Look, Manly came back at one stage. I scored some tries and we thought, oh, here we go. We might get a game out of it. But then, there was nothing there. DC just didn't look interested, to be honest. I had a friend of mine watching the game and he goes, what's happening with DC? He just doesn't look like he's in the game.
He might have just had a bad hair day.
He might have just had a bad hair day. I don't know what it was, but yeah, he was a bit off, they found. Their only good player was Ola Kawatu. He was outstanding, and maybe the fullback, Lehigh Hopawade, keeps impressing. But yeah, a bit of a bludger. Cronulla had it all to win. They were dominant from the start to finish.
Talakai came on, changed the game. Fanil Blake played with a strain.
He came off. He had a bit of a groin injury, but apparently he's okay. He's playing this week, but bludger. Absolutely. 3-2-1. Will Kennedy got the 3. Nico Hines got the 2, and Ola Kawatu the 1 point for Manly. And that's me.
Cool. Let's go north of the border again. The Cowboys got a good win, 24 points to 16 over the Rabbitohs. Tanya, tell us what happened here.
Yeah, that was so good. I was trying to remember what you said last week, George. You were talking about Jackson Purdue. Yeah. He's like 40 kilos ringing wet.
He's so good.
And then I think at the end of the game, they interviewed him and he's like, oh, it was so sweet. He's like, I'm not the most talented. I don't have the most talent. And he's so, and I thought of you, I was like, he's one of the sweetie.
So imagine, he's 19 as well. He's 19 as
Yeah.
well, like Lockie.
Yeah. Yeah. And he just, such a sweet kid. But no, he was awesome. I quite liked the game. Like, it was fairly even. Like, I think, that game I'll talk about next. Sorry, Nick. But when they're games that are blowouts on one side, or one of the games you're going to talk about, it just gets a little bit boring. Like, I like what you said before, George. Like, I like a really decent game. Tuligo is awesome. Obviously, Purdue. Jai, our little Jai Gray, played really well, and he's still top of Daily M, which is awesome. But yeah, like Purdue, he's so sweet, and he's going to be such a great player if he is surrounded by the right people. It was a good, decent game.
Yeah.
Like, and I think collectively, all four of us would have enjoyed it, because we're not really, they're not our number one teams, right?
What did you think of the hip drop?
Yeah, I don't know, because what ended up happening with that? Did they?
They said it was a hip drop. I'll question if it's a hip drop.
I didn't think it was.
He didn't get. He didn't
I
get
didn't
no
think it
fines.
was.
No, he fell on his leg.
He didn't get anything.
Yeah.
for it.
The issue is that you can say that was the turning point too, because they got the ball and they scored a try. They scored 3 tries. 2 tries after that. I mean, that was through the mistakes of the Bunnies, but that was the moment that the game swung. So I personally thought it was a refereeing error, which affected him emotionally. Jason Tamalolo, maybe not the person that he was 4, 5, 6 years ago, but let me tell you, doesn't he make some meters?
Yep.
Doesn't he run that ball so hard? This Pag Nanai, he got taught a lesson, went back to the bench, and I think I know something clicked, and he looks he looks so much like a maroon jersey boy again. There's another kid.
He's so good. Nanai's
So
awesome.
He's gonna be bathed in maroon again.
Yeah.
You know what? At one stage, I thought that the Bunnies were going to win and win well, but full credit to the Cows. I think it's 3 in a row now. I think it's 3 in a row, and they just keep on chugging along. You know what? It was hot, I think, there in Perth, and I know it suited more the Cowboys, but I think these players must be over heat. They must be over the heat. How long more can they play in the heat?
I don't know if I said it to you guys over the weekend, as long as 2 out of 4 Queensland teams win each week, I'm sweet. Whatever ones they are, I'm fine. But it is nice to see, because I think Dolphins and Cowboys had a bit of a rough kind of start. But and I always love, definitely Cowboys, to watch them. But also to watch, obviously Jai Gray and how that team's developing. But no, it was it was a really good game to watch.
Jai Gray, I'm going to be very interested because Bennett said that in 4 weeks he's going to put Latrell back to fullback. I don't see it, but that's what he said he's going to do, which will surprise me. So anyway, I actually wasn't one of the highlight games. They just went through the motions, but like I said, the Cows just keep on chugging along. 80 points.
3, 2, 1.
3 points went to Jason Tomalolo. He got 200 plus metres. He had a really good game, back to his best. Latrell Mitchell got the 2 points, 1 line break, 2 line break assists, 2 tries. He was pretty busy, pretty active. And potential rookie of the year, Jackson Pardue. Is this his first year? I told you, the 12-year-old kid. He looks like a young kid.
So good.
But he scored 2 great tries, and he could be potentially rookie of the year, mate. Is Jai Gray a rookie of the year this year? Is he a rookie this year?
No, he played last year.
He played last
No,
year.
he's not.
No. So Jackson could potentially be.
Maybe. Yeah, I think he only played
That's
2.
not good.
I think
Is he on contract?
Yeah. I think he only played 2 games last year. So
did he? So he
this
is?
year's his rookie. Yeah.
If he keeps playing the way he is, then
there's a try he scored. He just went straight through the middle.
Exactly.
I think he beat 3. I mean, it says more about Souths than Purdue, but geez.
But even his defence, he takes people down. Big guys run at him. He's not scared.
Technically,
The thing is, when you see these younger kids score, and you'll look at it now, but I saw in that Cowboys game, almost like the look of disbelief.
Yeah.
He's still got that freshness, which is so lovely.
Yeah.
Like
It's good, that naiveness. It's
Yeah,
good to see.
it
It's
is
good to
good.
see.
So before we get to the next game, I was just thinking that if you had asked me in the preseason after 6 rounds, Parramatta's on the same points as Penrith, I would have gone, yeah. I would have been
How
happy.
good's this, eh?
Mm.
Yeah. Funny how things can turn. So up in Darwin, where Parramatta have a wonderful record of losing every game they play.
This Darwin thing.
Thank
gets
God
me.
it's the last
Oh,
one.
It's the
thank
last one,
God.
yeah. The
Yeah.
contract's
Thank
up.
God. Thank
Canberra
God.
50 points to 12 over the Eels. What's there to say? Canberra looked great. They were energetic. They were hungry. They were first to the ball. Parramatta flat. One-on-one defense was terrible. Defense as a whole was terrible. Tam was trying to keep me positive through this one, but it was a sinking ship.
I just need to go there next time, obviously.
Yeah, I think so. It was as a Para fan, it was woeful. It was embarrassing to watch.
It was disappointing after a good performance the week before, and then they dished up this, which was the disappointing thing. I mean, Hudson Young was extremely
The one-on-one missed tackles. The
Yeah.
very, very, very simple one-on-one
core,
missed.
the core,
Where was
the
it
core
last week?
skills. The core skills.
Where was that last week? Couldn't do that.
No, I know.
They impressed last week, which I thought just give it a go. They didn't give it a go. Maybe it was hot. Maybe it was really hot out.
It was hot for both teams,
Yeah.
Okay.
especially for the team who comes from Canberra.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I'm trying
Not-
to find
not
I'm trying to
western
find-
suburbs,
Yeah, I'm trying to find
right?
excuses.
Not-
Hindmarsh wasn't happy, eh? Did you what he
Well, I
said?
mean, nor should he be. I mean, yeah, he said
Really?
they gave up. The players gave up.
They gave up.
It's I think it's worse than back to square one. They're going backwards. I'm not sure what happens this week. Apparently Moses is back, but
Yeah.
I don't see how
That's
much of a
big
difference
thing.
that'll make.
Oh no, it's a big thing.
It's huge.
Just the kicking game.
Stop being so optimistic. It's just really overwhelming me, Nick.
It's hard to be optimistic, Tam. I know you were trying to pump me up on Saturday night, but I just couldn't. I couldn't get there. It's hard to be optimistic when you're watching this stuff unfold in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
It's horrible to watch. There's nothing. I've got nothing positive to say about Para at all from that game. I don't know. You guys correct me if I'm wrong.
No, it wasn't much.
I think Canberra's a team that if you're off your game, they're going to score points. They're a good team. I'll rate the
I
Raiders.
know, but it was like they were so much better just through hunger.
Yeah,
and,
they were.
it's attitude stuff.
That's,
You know?
Well, they came off a loss,
what's
right?
missing. Like
Yeah.
if I see my team and they're giving it a go and they lose, well, they gave it.
No problem.
They gave it
I
a
don't
go.
have a problem with
They
it.
gave it a go. But last Saturday night, and I watched it with Artie this one. Last Saturday night, it seemed after 15, 20-ish minutes,
It was horrible to watch.
it seemed like they dropped off. We mentioned there was the heat
And
up there.
how many, like, if you look in the first 10, 15 minutes, how many stupid penalties did they give away?
Oh,
Errors.
schoolboy.
Like
As you say,
it's Sunday
schoolboy.
morning stuff. Yeah.
Schoolboy
So
stuff.
I don't have anything positive to say about it.
Yeah.
Credit to Canberra, they were great. Ricky Stewart, again, his press conference.
Oh, what happened?
Takes a swipe at Manly for the
Did he?
Jamal. Yeah, for the Jamal. He goes, I'm not going to bullshit anyone. You know, Manly came out and said we haven't been like we've been up front with everything.
Mm.
You know, we haven't. Ricky Stewart's just being Ricky Stewart. He
Yeah,
needs to
let
create
Ricky-
an enemy.
let Ricky-
He needs to create an enemy every week
let
out
Ricky-
of someone.
Let Ricky be Ricky.
So he,
Yeah,
couldn't, he
but-
couldn't do it out of Para and he couldn't do it out of the ref. So he had to pick Manly because they want to sign a player who Canberra are willing to let go,
Yeah.
even though Ricky Stewart said, I want to keep him, but the club's already told him you can go.
You can go. Yeah.
So explain that one.
It was nearly in tears at the end of the game when they spoke about football.
He keeps people talking about him though.
Yeah,
loves
he
it.
needs to create. He
Ricky
needs an
loves it.
enemy.
Ricky
yeah.
loves it.
He needs to
Ricky loves it.
fabricate
great.
some sort of enemy for himself.
Yeah.
So he's always the victim. You know, we saw him the week before out at Parramatta, 18. Oh, actually, I've got to show Artie. I haven't showed Artie
You gotta
that.
show-
I will.
Oh my
But yeah, can you give us the 3-2-1s on this one, Artie?
3-2-1. Hudson Young got the 3 points. Joseph Tapane got the 2. He's been playing well too this year. And Ethan Strange, he got the 1 point for the Raiders. Hasn't he been good, Ethan Strange?
Very good.
Was
Very
he
good.
Para Junior as well?
I think this Canberra team is some individuals like Smitty's like that. What's that? The English kid, which is just developing.
Oh yeah, Nichols.
Nichols, he's just developing, but he's looking for, as a good long term
Yeah.
prospect.
They-
And
They can find a good Englishman, can't they? They had Elliot Whitehead. They got Bateman. They got the hooker, the halfback, whatever his name was.
you mentioned Tarpany.
And yeah, Tapanu.
Yeah,
if he's,
Tarpany was good.
if he's not
He's so
the
good.
second best
Yeah.
front rower in the game after
Oh, yeah.
Payne, I don't know who he is. Yeah,
Yeah.
Melbourne Storm, 42 points to 14 over the Warriors. George, break this one down for us.
yeah. Not much to break down. A lot of teams at this time of the year are searching for their identity. It's really funny that they had it last year. They had their identity. They have their off season. They come back and it's lost a bit. So they got to work hard to find it again. Or like the Broncos are developing into who they're going to be by the end of the year. No such luck with this Melbourne Storm team, Nicola. They know exactly who they are. They know exactly what they want to do, exactly how they're going to do it. And did they do it on Sunday? Did they do it? Outstanding. I thought this was going to be 70-0 at one stage. They unfortunately took their foot off the pedal. What a big difference Jerome Hughes makes. I didn't expect that much of a difference that he makes, but you know what? Everything just flows around him. I really felt for the Warriors so much because they haven't sort of really played against a team which, as I call it, John Crease's dark arts around the ruck. When Melbourne starts doing their rucks, rolling that ruck, turning the player over, they just lost it. They just when the minute they lost the ruck and Jerome Hughes was darting out and Pat was coming into the line. And how good is Howarth? How good is Howarth?
He's good.
Just keeps on developing, and he struck a chord with Monster. This forward, you know what? Stefano, whatever his name is, Big Stefano. Anyway, at West, I thought he was one type of a forward. He comes here, and he completely changes the way he plays. But he's right for this Melbourne team. So John Crease has made him exactly what he wants to get out of him. Okay, basically meter eater and dirty ball man. You know what I mean? Amazing. He's an outstanding coach. This team again knows exactly who they are, and they're the team to beat. There's no doubt in my mind they're the team to beat. Warriors, I felt for him. The minute Fisher Harris went off, and not that he was going to make a difference in terms of winning the game, but that authority in the middle. Once he
do we know how long he's out for?
He's gone. His eyes his pec. I think he's torn his pec.
Oof.
So he might be 6 weeks. He's actually ripped it. Yeah.
The fish.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's ripped his peg. He's talking about taking a week or two off and strapping it up and playing. Look, he probably could. I wouldn't do it, but he's a psycho. He's a psycho fish. And still at the second
How do you
half,
strap up a peg?
yeah, I don't know how he's going to do it. I don't know, but he reckons
Maybe
he
it's not
reckons
as
they
bad
done
as
it.
everyone
Maybe
thinks.
not.
Maybe
it's
he's having a
smoke
mythos.
screen.
He's having a mythos
not-
moment.
Not him, the staff
Yeah,
there.
right,
Maybe the
right.
staff at Thibault. Look, Luke Metcalf and Tavia Harris. Look, they showed something. They showed glimpses. But look, on the day, they just got outplayed in every way. How bad is Klodstad's injury? Do you know?
No.
No. A few
He
weeks.
got taken off as well, but they just got burnt in every way. And this Melbourne Storm, they're a pleasure to watch. Pleasure to watch. They're, like I said, they're the team. They're the team to beat.
3, 2, 1.
3-2-1 went to 3 went to Harry Grant. 2 points went to Xavier Coates. He had an outstanding game out
I
the
didn't
wing.
mention Xavier. He's
fantastic.
he's going to have green on him.
Yeah.
Don't worry about maroon. He's going to have green on him.
Yeah. And Ryan Papp. Now that's the best spine you'll see in the NRL at the moment.
Yeah.
That spine of
Yeah.
Melbourne. It's unbeatable.
Closing out the round was Newcastle Knights at home went down 20 points to 4 to the Tigers. And for me, watching this one on Sunday was very similar to watching the Eels the night before. Newcastle. I mean, the Tigers did what they weren't great, right? They made a lot of errors, but Newcastle were diabolical at home in front of what looked like a sold-out crowd or pretty close to it. Just the number of there was Tigers scored an early try. I'm not sure if it was the first or second try. Bradman Bester's one-on-one defense. Did you see that? where he was just grabbing at air.
Yeah,
I mean, that's telling.
Yeah.
Right? That guy's not playing for New South Wales with that kind of form, right? That's at the start of the game. So again, with me, it's like Parra. I've got to ask the question: what's going on?
Yeah, I don't know. There's something going on there. I don't know what's going on with this roster. They should be doing much better. Now the Fletcher Sharp thing, as we go on, and he doesn't create, he runs, is telling.
It's worth noting
telling.
they had a hell of a lot of talent on the sideline.
They did.
Right?
There is injury. There is
Yeah.
injuries, but not enough to give this type of performance.
The Tigers did what they had to do,
They just
but they weren't great.
No, they weren't great.
Yeah.
They weren't great. I thought Newcastle played better against the Dogs on that Sunday night, but Knights were very disappointing, and they don't deserve that. They're a better team. They should be a better team on paper. They don't even. You know what? I feel so sorry for Kalen. He tries so hard. All you have to do is give him early ball. I keep on saying it on shoulders. They can't even do that because Fletcher Sharp isn't a ball player.
Well, he was out of
Fletcher Sharp
sorts,
is
yeah.
I just feel so sorry for him. He's his first receiver, his second receiver. He
The
does everything.
The
that
number
Cook
of
can.
handling errors, the number of unforced errors.
For both teams, but for Newcastle, diabolical. They couldn't. At one stage, they were trying to get out of their dirty ball. They kept on dropping it
Yeah.
every second tackle.
First, second tackle.
Yeah,
Yep.
West would get it, wouldn't score. So the Knights get it back. They're going to card it out. Yeah,
Drop it again.
Drop it again. Like,
was
please take.
terrible.
Please, you know what? It's like standing there and someone putting the gun to your head and say, "Shoot me, please, shoot me now." That's what. And that's all Tigers did. Shot him. But anyway, Jareen Buller is going to be special.
Yeah,
Gonna be
he's
special.
building something there. They're building something, but
definitely.
Lockie doesn't want to be part of it.
And that's fine.
Mate, you know what's freaky?
And that's fine.
We're going back to the
And
well
that's
again.
fine,
But look, you know
That's fine.
what's freaky about the Knights? They've only scored 2 tries in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
That's the
That's
problem.
pretty scary. They've had a bye in between in the 4 weeks, but still, 2 tries in 4 weeks. That's pretty bad. Hey?
3 weeks.
Maybe Buck the horse from the Broncos should go over to the Knights.
Mate,
he won't have to run
Buck
as
will have a
much.
holiday too.
Right.
Buck should go to Newcastle.
And
Buck
like we
will have a
said
holiday in
before,
Newcastle.
They'll have a buck and beauty again next
Maybe
week.
one of the Bucks should go to Newcastle.
One of the
For
Bucks.
That's it.
Artie, give us the points on this bludger of the round.
This was a bludger. The bludger of the round. We got Terrell May, got 3 points. Isn't he proven to be by the season?
Yeah.
Gee,
Oh
how good
my
is he?
God,
He's
he's
the
been
boy of the
good.
season at the
Yep.
moment.
Jareem Buller
Very
got the
good.
2 points. And Stafford Toa, even though he got into a bit of a stink with Gagai, he got the 1 point. He played pretty well at the centre.
The Stafford?
Yeah, Stafford Toa.
Rocks and diamonds. When he's diamonds, but
He's good, yeah, that's true. But he had a Diamonds game, mate. It was
Yeah,
pretty
he
good.
did. He
And
did.
the Bulldogs had the bye, George.
We had the boy. Thank God.
Undefeated after 6 rounds.
2 points. 2 more points.
you go.
and the
Undefeated.
streak continues.
Artie, take us through Crystal Ball.
The crystal ball, okay. So this week we've got our Easter weekend.
Easter
Love it.
round.
So we've got a
Can
few
you believe
games.
It's Easter?
Love it.
How
Love
quick
it.
did that come round?
Yeah.
Wow. So our first game, which will be on Thursday night, will be the Seagulls up against the Dragons, up at 4 Pines. St George continued to the yo-yo form, 1 win, 1 loss, 1 win. So we're due for a loss now. They've won the last 4, only won 1 of the last 7 at 4 Pines, so their record's shit there. Moneyman's out for the Dragons. Fairnai has come in. Jason Saab's gone. And the matchup for there would probably be Olakwadu versus Jaden Su'a. I think those two are pretty evenly matched. Who are you liking in this one?
I'm going Manly just based on the fact that they're at home.
Okay, sure.
Again, how many weeks in a row are Manly at home?
Oh, they're forever. Although they played away this last week, but they're forever home, those guys. You know what? Are they unsettled? Are the Seagulls, because of the DC thing, are they
That's the
unsettled?
thing, eh?
Do you think they're unsettled?
I don't know. Well, Trebojevic isn't back. He's still out.
Tommy's out, yeah.
Tommy's still out. Yeah. So.
You know what? I'm going to have a gut feeling. I'm going to say they're unsettled, and I'm gonna assume the Flano's done a siege mentality thing on the Dragons,
Mhm.
grab hit and run. I'm going to go Dragons. I'm going to go Dragons on the strength of their experience play.
Fair enough. What about you, Tanya?
I'll go Dragons as well.
Dragons. Okay. So,
Yeah.
Nick, you're the only one that's gone Manly. I'm going to go
Manly, yeah.
the Dragons as well. Good Friday. We've got a 4 o'clock kickoff at Acor. Bulldogs up against the Rabbitohs. Will
Can't
it be
wait.
good Friday for Rabbits or a good Friday for the Dogs?
Can't wait for this one. Can't wait.
Expecting a 70,000 people crowd.
70,000 people apparently.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're also they're giving away 4,000 or 5,000 tickets for $10 each.
Yeah. Some
Which is pretty good. Yeah,
Which is
Yeah,
good.
Good.
yeah.
Get them in. Get the families in. Get the kids in.
Absolutely. I've always said, forever, kids under 10 should be free.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
so.
Because you're going to
They
make
were.
money on chips and drinks and stuff anyway.
They
right?
were.
You'll make more. Do you know how much stuff I bought my kids?
Yeah.
Oh my god,
yeah.
I make more money anyway.
When we were growing up, T, if you played for a junior club and you had this card, you'd get let in for free any ground. So that's the way it should be now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
But NRL's NRL.
Mm,
I think for me, the Bulldogs in this one.
sure.
70,000.
Hard to tip against them.
Yeah, 70,000 people, Artie.
Let me just give you a couple of stats, mate. The
So,
Rabbitohs.
so in other words, Lakemba will be there.
Yeah,
That's
basically.
it. Belmore and Lachem. Just a couple of quick stats. Rabbitohs have won the last 6 Good Friday games, and the Bulldogs require 1 try to hit 1,000 at Akel.
Wow.
Now we've got Harry Hayes is out, but we've got Burton, Kickout, and Tupanua back from suspension.
Ooh.
So the Bulldogs are going to be full on strength. And South, they're looking at getting Campbell Graham, Cody Walker, and Lewis Dodd's been named on interchange. And Schuster, you remember Schuster? Manly?
He's back.
In reserves. They've got him named in reserves. Sullivan and Alex Johnson are out. Harry Hayes is out for the Bulldogs.
Alex Johnson's out.
Yeah, Colamatungi versus Preston. I think that's going to be a cracker. Who you going?
You know what?
Nick's gone the Dogs. Yep.
Yeah, doggies for me.
Yeah, 70,000, Artie. I think this style of aggression, this style of defence, South haven't faced that. Look, if Latrell decides to tear us apart, that's the only thing that will sway me. But I don't think Latrell will tear anyone apart. I think Dogs will win, and by the end, win will.
Fair enough, mate. Well, look, it's Easter, so I'm going the Easter Bunny because there's no Easter dog.
Really?
So, yeah, I'm going to go the Bunnies.
Okay, that's interesting.
Well, look, I think they've got a good side. I think their back line is really good.
Which
with
felt that in
Campbell
his soul. How could you?
Graham.
Yeah, I think they've been involved in a few bludgers, Artie.
Yeah, they have.
I think the points that they're on, mind you,
They have, yeah.
mind you, Supercoach can get you off for one game, so that's what scares me.
Yeah, I know.
Supercoach can get you off for one game.
Yeah, exactly. I just like the fact that Latrell and Cody are back together. They work well together. so.
That's a good thing. Very
Yeah.
good thing. Latrell,
I like how supportive Latrell was of Jai in the game last week.
Mm.
Like visibly supportive, like putting his arm around him and like really propping him because it would have been a bit awkward
Yeah. It
coming
would-
back.
For sure. They're an underestimated team, South. They've got a lot of strike. Campbell
got
Graham,
strike.
Latrell, Whiten,
yeah.
Jai Gray.
I'm a
It's a
fan.
very good team. Like people forget about how good their backline is. But anyway, we'll see. It's going to be a good test for Canterbury.
The only thing for me is that the only kind of, it's what George always says, is never underestimate a Wayne Bennett coach. team.
Yeah.
Like I can't see the Dogs losing, especially with the home crowd. Everything, all the momentum is with the Dogs, but Supercoach will just have something you would think,
For sure.
it won't be
For
easy,
sure.
right? It won't
For
be an
sure.
easy win.
Yeah. No, Wayne's conjured something up.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. They've been training.
He
all
didn't,
week
but
for
he didn't
something.
do like, yeah, we say he's a great coach, but Dolphins didn't have a great run under him either.
Yeah.
A brand new team, of course.
Never did
but-
Newcastle when he was there.
Yeah.
And that was a long time ago.
Got to
but,
buy in. Yeah.
That's it.
yeah, but I'm going the Dogs on that one.
Now, following that game in Friday evening is Dolphins and Storm. It's not a game that we're going to be rushing home from there, Pitaffio to watch. That's for sure. That's an Easter thing.
I'll still
it's
be
an
here.
Easter church. Nah, mate, joking. It's going to be a cracking game, this one. Dolphins up against the Storm. Dolphins beat the Premiers last week. And this week they're playing the runners-up, the Storm. So they can knock off these two. It's pretty good for the Dolphins.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
No. They won 3 out of the last 4 at Suncorp. And Josh Kerr makes his 100th appearance.
We're gonna get footage of that 2GB Breningos.
Oh.
Remember?
Yeah.
Remember who you tipping and he says the team that isn't playing?
Well, they're not playing. Oh.
Yeah. And Hadley goes, well, it's a bit hard. It's
Next week we'll play.
Sorry,
Next
I'll
week.
find it, yeah.
I'll start the April
Okay.
with
all
that
right.
next week.
That's gold.
Both teams are as is. The only thing, Jerome Hughes came off second half last week, but he's fine. He's been
He was
named.
rested, I think, wasn't he?
He was rested, yeah. They took him
Yeah.
off, but he's playing. He's been named. Dolphins have got Francis Molo, Junior Tupou, and Kenneth Bromwich, but they're only named on reserve, so they haven't been named. So teams are more or less as is. The hammer up against Pappenhausen, I think that'll be good, and Marshall King with Grant. I think they're the key.
There's a new injury that's surfaced in the game as well, hamstring tightness. Have you noticed that? Everyone's getting hamstring tightness now.
Hamstring
Yeah.
tightness.
Have you guys noticed that over the last few weeks?
No.
Not
They go
hamstring
stadium.
pull or tear,
No.
it's tightness.
Yeah.
My hamstring's tight.
Bit tight. I might sit out.
Yeah.
There's only one result here. Unfortunately, I love the Finns.
Put me down for Dolphins, Addy, because last week when you weren't on, they were like Dolphins, Panthers. Surely Panthers won't lose. Okay, I'll put my hand up for Dolphins.
What I saw last week, Adi, no one can beat the Storm at the moment. No one can beat
Except
the
for one
Storm.
team.
Who's that?
Dragons beat them 2 weeks ago.
Oh, that's
anyway.
right.
Without Jerome Hughes.
Yeah.
Our own,
No
our
one
own.
can beat him
Doesn't
with
matter.
Jerome Hughes.
Doesn't matter. We still beat them.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Fair enough. I would take it.
Go media.
Yep. So we've all gone the Storm except for Tanya, who's gone the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Good on you. That's a good one. That's I reckon you've got a good chance there. You never know. Super Saturday is the Warriors up against the Broncos. Both teams coming off losses. Pompey will be playing his 100th game, and Broncos have won their 3 of the last 4 in New Zealand. Clockstad, Fisher, Harris, Rocco Berry are out. Man, Kossi is in for Berry. Tupiki goes in at fullback. Capewell goes to the centres. Jackson Ford, front row. Man, he's a small player to play front row for the Fish. So they're their changes. But I had to put this one in for you, Nick. Morgan Harper has been named in the reserves.
Who's he playing for?
Warriors.
Oh, yeah.
They've named him in the reserves. I doubt he'll play, but anyway.
I didn't know you where he went.
I just wanted to say
big-
because I know
big
you'd be
boy,
interested.
big boy.
We could
Big
probably
boy.
use Harper at the moment.
Jack Gosiewski, whatever Gosiewski's been out for the Broncos, and Jordan Ricky is back.
Ricky.
Yeah, Jordan Ricky.
For
We
me,
forgot about him.
Broncos all the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Now Jesse Arthur's got downgraded, so he's HIA too, so he can play this week.
Yeah.
He was officially initially
Broncos all
HIA
the way.
1.
Yeah, Broncos.
Yeah, look, after Ricky,
Broncos.
you know how much I like Ricky. And Broncos after last week's
You've got
loss.
to get Broncos.
Yeah,
Yeah,
after last week's loss, they will have a rocket up the backsides this week, so they won't.
yeah. Now the next game, we've all gone the Broncos for this one. Looks like it's a pretty straight one. Roosters are up against the Panthers. Now, the
Gee.
Roosters have played the Panthers and the Broncos twice. So that's 4 out of 4 games in 7 rounds.
Crazy.
That's
I'm
crazy.
laughing
Crazy.
about this one because
It's a
when
joke.
the last time these two played, the whole narrative was the Roosters, what a phenomenal, but yeah, Penrith are still on 2 points.
Yeah, I know.
It wasn't that big of a win
I know.
when you look back on it now, was it?
Yeah,
Right? Penrith are still on 2 points.
exactly.
I'll go the Roosters on this one because they look good and Penrith don't.
Well, Melbourne just beat the Penrith. Remember, Penrith came back and nearly beat Melbourne,
Yeah.
and then Roosters came back and beat them the
But
next
do you remember
week.
all the hoopla
There
about
was.
James Tedesco, the greatest win in the club's history, or in my career? I can't remember which one he said. Penrith are still on 2 points.
Yeah, but Roosters were all juniors too. They had a lot of youngsters
Yeah,
playing.
fair
so-
enough. But Penrith are still on 2 points.
They were. Billy Smith.
I'm going
suspended.
Panthers, Addy.
Panthers? Fair enough.
I'm going the Chooks.
You're going the Chooks. Billy Smith suspended. He's out, and Qantas, the guy in Qantasima,
Yeah.
whatever his name is, he came
Yeah.
back in. So they've got that.
Um,
Mitch Kenny is back in, man.
Mitch Kenny's
That's a
back
big
in.
in.
Big in.
Penrith are the favourites. Sports bet. How I don't know. You know what? I'm going to go Penrith.
You're
They
going
are
to
the
get Penrith.
I don't know why. Because I'm silly. I'm going Penrith
You're going Penrith.
because I'm silly.
Okay. This is a tough one, actually. I'm
It
going to go
is.
Penrith as well, actually, George.
The next one's tougher.
Yeah.
The next one is
us.
the Titans up against the Raiders. Ricky versus Desi. Did these guys meet in the grand final, you reckon? When Canberra played the Raiders in '87, were they both playing? Do you remember?
Ooh.
Well, wait a second. When Canberra played the Raiders,
Sorry,
Canberra played Manly.
Manly.
yeah,
Yeah.
Hasler was the Manly halfback,
And was
and Ricky was the Canberra halfback.
it was, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. That's
And who was the Canberra 5'8", George? It wasn't Daly.
Wasn't it?
O'Sullivan
Was it?
Ah,
O'Sullivan?
there you
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
with the headgear.
It was.
See?
It was too.
Well, Titans have lost 3 of the last 4 at the Seabus, so they're not, the record isn't that good. And Raiders have won 9 out of the last 10 against Titans.
By the way, the last grand final ever held at the SCG.
It was.
Was?
Yeah. 88 was the first one at the SFS.
Yes, it was. It was.
The
too.
Dogs.
It
Feel
was
good.
too, yeah. It was
Come
too.
on, guys. You should know this better than me.
Well,
I should.
Huh? I'll never challenge you, Tan.
Tino's back for this one.
yeah, the two famous Miasalata
Right.
boys are back.
Oh, yeah.
The brothers, Tino and Isaac, his brother, and Jojo Fafita, he's back. Firma goes back to the second row, and Sami into the centres. Philip Sami.
I think Parramatta made Canberra look good. I think the Gold Coast will get this one up at Seabus.
Tino's back.
Yep.
Okay, so you're going Titans, Tanya?
Yep.
Titans. I'm going Raiders. Georgie?
Oh, you know what? I want to believe in Desi so much. I don't know what he's doing. I don't understand his patterns. I don't understand his pattern. I'm going to go Canberra because I know what they do.
I'm going Canberra as well. So we've got two each there. We're split down the middle there, which is good.
Yeah.
Titans and the
I actually-
Raiders. It's going to be a tight game.
I actually wish that Titans win, and I see a certain type of pattern, so I understand what they're doing. I still haven't understood Desi's harebrained idea. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Sunday we've got the one game. We've
Ooh.
got Knights up against the Sharks. Will the Knights be able to score more than a try this week? Knights, you know the Knights have got the second best defensive record.
Sharks.
Can you believe that? Yeah.
Sharks.
Even though they can't score.
Knights.
Sharks. You going the Knights, Tan?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're going Sharks.
Sharks.
Did you watch them last week, T?
I
Yeah.
tipped the Tigers for that game. But
It's very
they
confident.
they're pretty even in terms of stats and the boys that are playing and who's in and stuff. But yeah, I just have a feeling.
Sharks.
Aladdin's been named, even though he came off with a groin injury, which is a bit
I'm
weird.
surprised, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm surprised if he plays,
don't
but
think
he's
he'll
been
play.
named, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Tyson Gamble's back at the Sledger, at King Sledger.
Oh, wait a minute.
So they've got a halfback this week. It's
Yeah.
different halves.
Is it?
Yeah,
Who's
Sharks.
half? Who's playing halves?
Gamble's at the halves.
Yeah, but Fletcher Sharp's still there.
He's still there, but still.
Yeah. No, Cronulla.
Cronulla? All gone Cronulla?
Yeah.
Up.
Oh, I went
Cronulla?
Knights.
No? Oh, you're going Knights. Sorry, Tanya.
Yeah.
Okay, and now Monday, Super Monday game. We've got the West Tigers and the Eels. Last year was the Spoon Bowl, wasn't it? But this year we've got the West Tigers who are in the 8th and the Eels down the bottom. So,
Who won last Easter?
The Tigers won with the field goal, right? At the
yeah,
end, I
right at
think,
the
no?
end. Yeah,
Oh, no, sorry. Gutho missed an easy conversion. He could have won it after the whistle.
Gutho.
Yeah. He's like the third choice goal kicker. But
yeah.
but you know what? And I could be wrong. Tell me the stats. I don't think the Tigers have ever beaten the Eels with
On
Moses
Friday?
playing.
Oh, with Moses playing?
Yeah.
Probably not.
They've only ever beaten him without. And let's not forget the 60 points to whatever it was last game of the year last year. Just thought I'd bring that up. Anyway, hard for me to tip the Eels on this one, but if Moses really is playing, I'm gonna throw a Hail Mary and go for Para.
Yeah.
He is playing, and I'm going for Para.
He's been named. I don't know if he's going to play.
Yeah, he's
but
been named.
I'm going to throw a Hail Mary anyway.
Well, Skelton and Galvin are out for Tigers too.
Skilton's
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, hamstring.
Yeah.
Ooh, meters.
Dewey's moved to half. You've got Mitch Moses. Simonson's been named on the bench on the wing.
Yeah,
Jack Williams is back for the for the Eels.
would have been nice to have Lomax there as well.
Kilma Talugi. Offahangawi and
dropped.
Lane dropped.
Yeah,
Madison's on the bench. How come he hasn't brought him on, eh?
I don't know. He hasn't played him, but Lane's been
Hasn't played him.
terrible.
Yeah. Actually, Madison's in the reserves. Same
Yeah,
as
he won't
Lane.
play.
He won't
Madison
play.
was terrible last
He
week.
won't play.
Yeah.
He was terrible last week.
They were all terrible last week.
I expect Parramatta to play much better, to lift in front of their home ground, home people. And I think it's a West home game. This one, I think maybe.
It's a West home game, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it
a
is.
Combank, mate. Their record there's good. They've won the last three
Yeah, I'm
against the Eels at Combank.
I'm going to go reluctantly.
Three depleted
Tigers.
teams.
Yeah,
Mm.
I'm going to go reluctantly Tigers, but dropping Lockie is a mistake.
We'll see.
That's my opinion.
We'll see.
And I think I'm going to tip the Cowboys.
Cowboys to beat the bye?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Ooh,
at home.
tight,
tight,
at home,
tight.
at home.
At
Yeah,
home.
in the heat. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. You're right.
I,
You're right, Nicola. In the
Thanks
heat.
for that, Artie. Can you give us? You weren't here last week, so you got all the away
Yeah.
teams because you didn't give us any tips.
Oh, no. I've got
next,
tips.
Next week, do you want to give us a?
A wrap up on
Yeah.
last week? Yeah, I'll give
Yeah,
it.
next
I'll
And-
update it.
and next week, can you start giving us power rankings? Power rankings.
Yeah, sure. Power rankings, no problem. We'll do
And you're not going to do Super League, are you now?
Super League. You want me to do Super League?
Yeah.
I've got it ready. All right. Now, I wasn't here last week and we had the Challenge Cup.
Yeah.
So, semi-final. Did you do them?
No.
Okay. Because I didn't get to the end of the pod. I'm still listening to it. So, we've got Challenge Cup quarter final. Warrington Wolves beat St Helens 20-12. Hull FC 16, Hull Kingston Rovers 32. Battle of the two Hull teams. Catalan beat the Salford Devils 20-12. And Trinity went down to the ugliest jerseys in the world, Lee Leopards 12-20. So the quarterfinals, which will be played in May, 10th of May, is Catalan Dragons versus Hull. And on the 12th is the Warrington Wolves versus the ugliest jerseys in the world, the Lee Leopards. Now, the results for the week that just passed.
This is interesting.
Right, we've got the Salford Devils 0, Leeds Rhinos, Brad Arthur's team 28.
Yeah, they're doing very well.
St Helens 26, Wakefield Trinity 14, Hull Kingston Rovers 12, the Wigan Warriors 28.
Okay.
They're coming back. Warrington Wolves 16, Hull FC 28.
Yeah.
Big Sam's team went down. Castleford Tigers 6, the Lee Leopards, we have to say it all the time, ugliest jerseys in the world, on 20.
They really are.
And Huddersfield Giants 18, Catalan 38, which leaves Hull Kingston Rovers on 12. Interesting table, isn't it? Hull Kingston Rovers on 12, Hull FC on 11, and then Wigan and St Helens on 10. That's the top four with Lee Leopards, ugliest jerseys on 9. So
is there a change in?
It's very close, eh? 3 points separates first and fifth.
Very, very quickly, I got the information about
Belandis.
NRL buying Super League. I told Nicola off camera. The Feathers or Belandis wants to buy Super League, 30% stake of Super League. They run it. NRL runs it. Not negotiable. It's going to be a 10-team competition, eight English teams, 2 French teams. So they develop Europe. Every team will have a sister club in Australia, NRL.
How do you fit 18 into 10?
Well, 18 into 10. Yeah, no. But wait a minute. They have the NRL teams have to send coaches and development staff to do a Penrith style recruiting sort of thing. Okay, they want the Super League to be feeder clubs for the NRL. So
did we talk about this on air last week or before?
We talked about it a couple of weeks ago, but this is the official.
Yeah.
I still don't understand how someone can purchase a 33% stake and assume total control.
Yeah.
Because they're on their knees.
It doesn't make any sense.
They're on their knees. So what he wants to do is the television deals are coming up in 2 years. Okay, he wants to build it up. He wants to get good dollars for it. And he wants to give it back to them. It's going to cost them money. It's going to cost the NRL money. They're not going to make any money out of this. What he wants to do is develop the international game. Okay, and he wants Super League to be a feeder for the NRL. That's what he actually wants.
Can St Helens wear the feeder for St George? Because they wear the same jersey, red V. Well, they don't have to just do much.
Start with Saints.
St Helens got the best youth system in the
Exactly, that's why
in the country. But that's the Super League. And look, if they agree, which you know what, they're going to agree because they're on their knees. They got nothing. They're nearly ready to just fall over.
Really?
No, they got nothing. Yeah, that's how bad they are. They're this close in falling over. So they believe that NRL will be their saviour. I believe Belandis will be their saviour. But the issue is this: he'll get the big deal. He'll fix the comp. He'll get the big deal, and then he's going to give it back to them. Guess what they're going to do to it? They're going to crash it again.
Yeah,
they're going to crash it again. But anyway, maybe they're not. Anyway, we move on.
yeah. And Napoli won 3-0 this morning.
Yay!
10. Over to 10 for player in profile this week, please.
Oh, you're gonna love this, George. So he was out. What was it, round 2? Campiera, and I did talk about him a lot last year too.
Campiera, yeah.
Calpiera, yeah.
Yeah, so
He
he's
rocks.
my player in review. So he was born in New South Wales,
Yeah, of
but
course
he
he was.
moved.
Of course he was. Of course he
was.
was. Of course he was.
Liverpool.
But he moved to the Gold Coast when he was 9.
No,
So
just made it. 13.
made it.
yeah.
Made it. Just
So
made
his
it.
background: Samoan, Maori, Pakistani, and Indigenous Australian. So he played
Wow.
for. Yeah, he played for Indigenous during all against, I think it was Maori or Tonga last year or something.
Wow.
He was the first Titans player to score more than 20 tries in a season.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Overall, he's played 45 games and scored 46 tries.
Yeah.
He's back in round 8. And so I've obviously leading into the season, Tino coming back and then off and back again. But once he is back in, and then Tino as well together, it's going to be so good. But he debuted in 2019. He got the Prime Minister's what is it, the 13?
Yeah.
Against Papua New Guinea. He is eligible for Queensland State of Origin.
Of course he is. Of course he is, T. He's very good.
course.
He's
one of
very,
the-
very good.
One of the contenders, but also like obviously now you guys would know the style, I guess, of what I like in players, but just super humble workhorse. You don't hear it. Like I think when I was talking to you guys about it last year or someone else, and I was like, Campiera scores a try every game.
Every game.
And imagine and in his first season, he broke a record.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
What an absolute unit. But he is back next week, not this week.
Do you know-
It's good that he's Queensland, because if it was New South Wales, he wouldn't get picked because he scores too many tries for New South Wales. Like
Yeah.
Blacklock and
Do,
Alex.
do you know what his junior club was?
Yeah, what was his-
Burleigh Bears.
Yeah, so he's a really bear.
Yeah, so on the Gold Coast, that you guys would have, I don't know if you would have heard of it, but Kebra Park. So
Yeah.
he went to Kebra Park. So Kebra Park's basically a feeder.
He went to
It
that
should be
school.
feeder for Tigers, but it's actually feeder for a lot of the clubs. But pretty much Burleigh's pretty clever. They come along and scoop them up fairly quickly. But yeah, he's just brilliant. He's like one of my favorite players to watch.
great player,
And he's just going to be. He's awesome. Like he's similar to, I guess, like Purdue and Jai Gray, where
Yeah.
they don't have any controversy out there in the media. They just kind of do their thing. And then because I've been missing watching him play because he's such a standout, right? But he's he's just brilliant.
Yeah.
So
What remind me again? He's injured. What
he
injury?
got injured in round 2. Was it a hamstring?
Was it hamstring strain?
Hamstring tightness.
Tightness. Sorry, hamstring.
How many years has he been in the NRL now?
This is his
3.
third. Yeah,
3
his
It's his
year.
third year.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, and then I think last year he scored, I think 23. Oh no, wouldn't have been 23. But definitely his first year he broke a
carved
record.
Up. He carved up last year. He carved up, everybody. Yeah, no, good one, T. Good one. Loved it. Loved it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Loved it.
he I won't keep bringing up New South Wales.
No.
Origin
I
that will
love
play
it.
for
I
Queensland.
love it. Next week, can you do a?
Well, actually, wait a
Noel
second. Next
Bronco?
week, I was planning on doing the
what?
Paul Carriage. Remember from
Yeah, Paul
No,
Carriage.
I'm joking.
Can you do? Can you do one from the
Opposite?
No.
Yeah.
An old Bronco, like I don't know, Wendell, or I don't know, in that
Yeah,
team.
of course.
In that team.
Yeah.
Or one of your favourites. I don't know. One of your
Yeah,
favourites in
for
that
sure.
in that
That team: Wendell Saylor, Paul Hoff,
Yeah.
Michael Hancock,
Yeah.
Mark Hone,
Yeah.
Trevor Gilmeister,
Gilmeister, yeah.
the Axe.
Which is
What a team!
What a team! What a
What a team!
And they
Alfie,
won.
Actually-
They
Kevy,
won. Yeah.
Tallis.
Yeah.
yeah,
Actually, no,
like,
that was
I
before
actually-
Tallis.
Was it?
Tallis was later. Yeah,
Actually, like Justin Hodges, who's one of my
Hodges,
favorites.
that was
Hodges,
later too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hodges, yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking 92, 93.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm talking
yeah.
that team.
That
Remember
team.
Paul Hoff,
Oh yeah, with the Pearl,
Steve Renoff,
Steve Renoff.
Mate,
Yeah.
You know which player I
one of
like?
the best centers I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I like Matt Bowen. Remember him?
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
Matty
oh,
Bowen.
Oh,
He
Matty
was
Bowen.
Great player.
I met him last year and I didn't realize it was him.
Yeah.
It was before the Origin game because
Yeah.
I was chatting with him because I chat with everyone.
Yeah.
And my mate was like, you were talking to those Matty Bowen, and it was the same mate that pulled me up the following month because I went to a networking event. He's like, you're talking to the mayor of Toowoomba, and I'm like, am I? And he's like, Tan. And I'm like, I don't like think about people like that. Mayor of Toowoomba was very lovely, and so is Matty Bowen.
As long as he's lovely, that's the main thing. And we move
And
on.
that's it. You have anything else for us?
I have got something else. I was listening to SEN and they brought up a season and a certain St George team. So I went back scurrying and having a look, and I'm going to bring back for 1 week only a year in review.
Ooh,
It's 1959.
59.
59. Nicola, was a 10-team competition. That's the number we won anyway. And let's get real. We know who won the comp that year. Minor premiers was St George. It was their 6th straight, and of course they won the competition as well.
Six
So
straight?
That was their 6th.
Because we won 56 to 66, so 56.
Was it? It says it was the
That's
6th straight.
Oh, okay.
That's what it said. How would you place it?
Fourth. Because we won from 56 to 66.
Okay, then it's 4th. I got it wrong. It doesn't matter. They're on
all
their
right,
way.
roll.
They're on their way.
They're on their way.
That year, Kenny Irvine was top try scorer, Nicola, with 19. Now, this is what I found interesting. St George were undefeated that year, Nicola. They won 19 from 20. The only game they drew was against Balmain. And Balmain came bottom of the table that year.
Wow.
They scored 40 points 6 times. They averaged 30 points 4 and 10 points again. A few players debuted that year. You might know some of these players. A guy called Reg Gaznia and another guy called Johnny Raper, Nicola. They debuted. They were the youngsters.
What can you tell us about Aaron Raper, his son, State of Origin?
Aaron
He
Raper.
didn't play.
He's the only player who sat on the bench.
Is he the only one?
Well, as far as I know, yeah.
Fair enough.
Tommy
that was
Wilonicus
Tommy,
was the coach.
Tommy.
Yeah.
The top 4, which was a top 4 system back then, Nicola. St George were on 35 and undefeated. West were the second team, 27. Manly, 22. Newtown, 20. And the team that beat or drew against St George was 7th with 13 points. So in the semi-finals, Nicola, Saints defeated West, and they all straight in the grand final. They defeated West 35-25, and they just went straight to the GF. Manly defeated Newtown 17-6, and the next week, a boil over, Nicola. Manly defeated West 14-13, which was a boil over. Yeah. That week, grand final week, Nicola, there was rumours that Rex Mossop had a broken cheekbone. The rumours were flying around. So some of the forwards, specifically Harry Bath, in the grand final, took it upon themselves to test the cheekbone.
Bath's babes.
Yeah. Well, anyway, they took exception, and they tested the cheek.
Remember Bath's
bone.
babes?
I remember Bath's babes. Yeah, St George. Yeah, there. By that time, the St George pack was just completely steamrolling the Manly pack, Nicola. In frustration, Rex Mossop, after Bath again testing his cheek bone, Bath was lying on the floor. So Rex Mossop decides to stomp on Harry Bath's head.
Oh, jeez.
Look, from that, a big all-in brawl starts, and referee Lawler sends both of them off, which was unusual back then.
Back then, yeah.
Because they'll send Mossop off. But anyway, but look, by that time, Norm Proven's St George pack just steamrolled them, and they won 20-0. But the what I found interesting, that they had an unblemished season. They beside the draw, which I don't know how Balmain drew against them.
Yeah,
they were undefeated.
Undefeated season, man.
Undefeated season.
Only team.
Yeah, I was
Is that the only time there?
Undefeated.
Undefeated.
Wow.
Yeah,
Whole
undefeated.
season.
Wow.
Yeah,
Just
I
like us.
didn't know it only happened once.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's
Could
what.
be the Bulldogs this year, George.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so too. We'll see how we go.
He's like, don't say it.
Don't say that. Don't jinx them, T. Don't jinx them. In a couple of weeks, we're playing Brisbane on the Thursday night. Guess where? Yeah, that's right, Suncorp. And we'll see how we go then, because I'm sure Brisbane will be ready for the Bulldogs.
What date is that?
It's in 2 weeks. This is my phone. It's in a couple of weeks. I wish I could get up there actually, but if it wasn't a Thursday,
I'm thinking about it.
If it wasn't a Thursday, T, I would fly up there. No, it's the 24th.
15th or the 8th?
So next week.
Next week.
It's next week. Yeah.
24th, yeah.
Yeah, next week.
That night before April Anzac Day.
I'm on holidays next week.
Well, there you go. Off you go.
Hmm.
Off you jump on a plane. I've got the teaser songs. Sorry, T, you can't hear them, but I've got two because I remember listening to this one in well actually Adi didn't have his Cortina yet. I remember swapping cassette singles. Remember the cassette singles?
Cassingle.
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 That's right. I remember swapping the cassette singles with Adi, and I was wondering if he remembers it. And Nicole, maybe you know it. Maybe you know it. It was a massive hit.
Give us a sample.
Massive hit. And by the way, I got one after specifically for you.
For me.
Specifically for you.
Wow, okay.
And that was the Boy Wonders.
And Tony can't hear us?
Sorry, T. Sorry, T. You got the.
I got the first one.
You got the first one. Did you like it?
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Let's see if Adi can remember this one.
That was George
I'm
Michael.
gonna follow my heart.
That sounded like Careless Whisper.
That's like yours as well.
I'm gonna follow my heart.
Nearly.
Slowly.
Nearly. You got it. You're right.
Yeah, I don't know the name of the song.
It sounded like Careless Whisper.
I'll go again.
I'm gonna. Yeah, it's that song.
Hard in my heart.
Hard in my heart.
There you
That's.
go. Do you remember who by?
No.
Quarter Flash.
That's such a
Quarter
quick,
Flash.
that's such
Yes.
a quick snippet. It's hard.
Yeah. I'm gonna hold him.
So it's something like this.
Are you going to play that at the end? Yeah. That's a great song.
Do you remember it, Nicola?
I love the saxophone. It's a great song.
Oh, really?
This
Honestly?
was before my time.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, it was.
1980.
Yeah.
It's saxophone. Beautiful.
I got one for Nicola.
Oh, here we go.
I got Nicola. Now, I'm expecting Nicola to even before I sit back in my seat.
It's a 1 second snippet. How am I possibly supposed to?
You'll get it. You'll be
let's see.
surprised.
Let's see. Ready?
Play it again. It's like,
Come on.
it's half a second.
Nah.
No, I've got no idea.
Is it Kiss?
Do it again.
Ah, I got it, man.
It's too quick. Oh, that's from the 80s. That's from Lick It Up. Yeah, okay. I'm thinking 70s. Yeah. That's from Lick It Up, 83.
Yeah. It's a song called Not for the
Not for the innocent.
Yeah.
I'm not for the innocent. Yeah, but you can't tell me you knew that song from the snip. Of course
I
not.
didn't either.
They don't either. If you ask Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley, it's never been played live.
Oh, really?
That is like I would never have been able to pick that.
Okay.
I'm thinking Destroyer, Love Gun. I'm thinking Rock and Roll Over. I never would have picked Lick It Up.
The only reason we've played it is I think it's a record that Anthony's listening to at the moment.
It's a great song.
He
Lick It Up.
He likes the album.
First album without makeup.
Yeah, he
When
likes
they took the makeup off, 1983.
Oh, really?
He likes the album. Yeah, he liked the album. So
First album, Not for the Innocent. It wasn't a hit.
wasn't he?
No.
The album wasn't a hit, or
No, the album was. That's not that song.
But
That wasn't a single.
Lick It Up was.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I told him. He thought.
And
he didn't
and
know.
All Hell's Breaking Loose.
Oh, Hell's is a single.
All Hell's Breaking
Okay.
Loose.
He didn't know what was the single. He just liked the record.
Yeah, no, not for. No, it's a good song, but I never would have picked that in a million
Okay,
years.
I'll
You might as well pick All Night.
What?
Don't worry about it.
Okay. Oh, you know what?
That's another one of their
I'll
songs.
I'll pick a one from the 70s next week. And
Let's put the X back in the sex.
is that what album was that from? Same one?
That's a trick question. It didn't come off an album. It came off a
Ah.
compilation album.
Which one?
Smashes, Thrashes, and Hits.
Smashes.
That didn't come off a studio album.
There you go.
It was like a live too. There were 4 studio tracks on the end of it.
Was it?
Yeah.
Can't wait. I'm gonna go. And I can't believe you got it straight away, Artie.
Hard in my heart.
Yeah, hard in my heart. Great track.
Can I
Couldn't
just
think
say
of the
one-
name of it.
Can I just say one more thing before we lower the curtain?
Yeah.
Next week is episode 100.
Is the next
No,
week
wow.
100?
Yeah.
100. Easter week or
Yeah.
after Easter weekend sort of thing.
Maybe is there any? Depending on everyone else, can we maybe do Wednesday night next week or not?
Yeah.
Is that an
Yeah.
option? Because
Yeah.
I want to get a cake made up, and Tuesday probably won't be enough time. Monday's a public
Oh,
holiday.
yeah.
Friday's a public holiday.
Done.
I'll
See?
get something made up.
Wednesday. Yeah, I'll be
Wednesday's
here
fine.
around 8.
I'll get,
yeah.
I'll get a, yeah, no, we can, yeah, I'll get a cake made up for the 100th episode.
Monday's a holiday.
Yeah.
Done.
And it'll,
Wednesday it is.
it'll take me a day to get over the loss. At least if I got Tuesday.
Can you imagine if you know what they're looking at it? There's a good chance that all our teams might win this week.
The streak continues, T.
The streak continues.
We've got 4 teams. We've got to continue.
But you know how
I
close we
love your
came this week?
optimism. I swear
Yeah.
I do.
You don't realise how close we came this week.
You won.
Broncos lost, Para lost, St George won. Like, that was lucky, man. If Saints lost, it would have been the first time the streak's out.
No, we'll say the bye. Remember
No, we
last year?
can't. Can
had
we
the
use the
bye.
Last
bye?
year.
Can we use that?
Last
Hey,
year we did.
We did.
It's 2
Yeah.
points.
We were scraping there with using the bye.
Yeah, wait, mate.
Jeez.
You got to
Last
scrape
year
the
we did.
barrel
There's
sometimes.
four teams now.
I
We're going to have a
know.
bye every week.
I know. How can we go wrong?
I'm taking the bye every day of the week.
You got to do what you got to do, Arnie.
Oh, jeez.
All right. Well, thanks, guys, for another great episode.
Yeah,
And like we
that was
said,
fun.
we're happy Easter to everyone out there who's celebrating it. Happy Greek
Oh,
Easter. It's
sorry.
Greek Easter this weekend as well,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
guys?
Sorry,
Yeah,
just before
but-
we go.
Happy Greek Easter
Sorry,
to
quick
everyone.
one before we go.
Yeah.
Ari Seagulls won the Greek Grand Final.
Yes.
In the Super League. Sorry,
Yes. Yes.
I just George will run that.
I don't know how these guys
Ari
know this
Seagulls.
information.
It comes up on the Facebook. I don't know. It just
Yeah,
comes
no.
up.
I can tell you-
Congratulations.
I can tell you
Congratulations,
about-
Ari
I can tell you
Seagulls.
about second division France if you want.
They're starting their own they're starting their own Facebook, and it's called Greasebook.
Oh my God.
Sorry, Nick. Go. What were
No,
you gonna say?
that's it. I was just saying, happy Easter.
Yes,
happy
happy
Greek
Easter,
Easter
right?
to the Greek contingent as well.
Both at
Because
the same time.
it's rare that it falls on the same weekend,
very
right?
rare.
Yeah, which is
Once
good.
every 4
Yeah,
Which means I'll
it's
see you
really
on Friday, but I won't see
Friday.
you on Sunday.
Oh, yeah. Sunday, unfortunately, go to mum.
And happy Easter to everyone out there listening, and we'll see you all for our 100th episode next week.
Yeah, 100.
Yeah.
Wow.
Happy Rugby League.
Everybody happy
Good night.
rugby league.